Welcome into the Cam Strick Podcast, episode number 148. I just asked Brody if it was episode 347, dude.
No, I know. And it wasn't.
No.
You know what? Look, before, we're not as, yuppie today and, giggly and all this shit today. Today's a fucked up day in the hockey world, man. And I don't want to be too doom and gloom, but, God, we got to talk about it here. And, not only but the guy from New York Rangers, is it Gilbert?
I mean,
Rob Gilbert? Is it Gilbert?
John's Cam's Rod Gilbert.
Is it Gilbert?
No, it's not Gilbert.
Is it Gilbert?
Yeah, it's Gilbert.
Okay, well, I didn't know him. Now, besides,
dude, we got to talk about Rod Gilbert. You said that's exactly your exact.
All right, Rod Gilbert. That's it doesn't matter. He's an older guy. I don't know him that well. Mm-hmm. But then you got the three kids in a car accident.
Awful, man.
Awful. We're gonna get into that in a second. Mm-hmm. But first and foremost, Jimmy Hayes, man, passed away. Was it last night or this morning? Doesn't really matter. We know Shane O'Brien. We know Scotty Upshaw. We love those guys, and we just want to say, man, we're thinking about you guys, dude. Yep. We fucking love you, and we're thinking about you. And it's gonna be a tough go here for a bit, but you got a lot of people thinking about you, man. And we're all in this, dude. And you know the hockey community is gonna be by your side and shit like that. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that at you guys.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thinking about you, man. That's the best thing about the hockey community.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody just kind of rallies, and they are going to have a lot of support. And let me just say this too, man. I'm thinking about his wife, his kids.
Oh God.
I'm thinking about his brother,
yep.
And obviously, there's a lot of people that are entertained by Jimmy. People listen to his podcast, whatever.
Yep.
That are probably hurting today. You know what I'm saying? So. He comes from a family out there in Boston, tight-knit hockey community, knows a lot of people, cousins with the Fitzgeralds. A lot of people think they're cousins with the Tkachuks as well, but the Tkachuks and the Fitzgeralds are cousins, and they're pretty close with the Hayes family too. So they do a family vacation every summer. There's just a lot of people that obviously know this family, and knowing Scotty Upshaw, obviously from his days here in St. Louis, and then Shane O'Brien, and they're hurting today, man.
They're messed up today.
They're hurting today.
They're messed up
so
today.
We're thinking about all y'all.
So anyway, I was going to say this too, and I know it's not doing those three kids too, and I don't want to. I don't know the kids, but it's horrible. But here's what I'm going to say about car accidents as a whole, right? Mm-hmm. I remember, I had a Corvette, and I remember going in cars when I was young. And my buddy would get a fucking little RX-7 turbo, and he's like, get in here. And he'd fucking fly around. I go, turn this motherfucker. Stop it right now. Pull over. Get me out of this thing. I'm walking home. Mm-hmm. Don't you ever fucking drive fast with me again. I don't give a fuck that your car's fast. Don't put me in a fucking jam. I've seen this fucking movie a billion times. Slow the fuck down. I hate when people drive fast and I'm in that goddamn car. I don't put up with it, man. I don't. I'll make you stop, and I'll get out, and I'll walk the fuck home. Don't ever get into a car with a fuckhead that wants to race around and show off. Yeah. Don't do it.
No, I don't know the circumstances surrounding.
I'm not comparing that.
Okay.
I'm just saying as a whole.
Yeah.
I'm just saying as a whole. My bad.
Because I don't think we know what took place with this car accident or whatever. So
I'm just saying, all y'all, a lot of you guys have kids. Andy, your kids are getting a little bit old. Chloe's going to be old here soon. She's going to get the fucking license here. What, 3-4 years? How old is she?
6 years.
In 6 years. Well, I can't do the math. But the point is, all y'all out there that have kids that are turning 16.
But 6 years will be here before you know it.
It'll be here. No, it's going to happen in 5 years. She's going to get picked up by a dude.
Yeah.
And he's going to come to your house, and you're going to look in his fucking eyes, and you're going to make sure they're not fucking googly-eyed.
What do I say to him? What do I say?
I don't know yet.
How do you think I'm going to say it?
I don't know what I know what I do, but
what would you do?
I'd look at him as motherfucking soul is what I'd do. I'd make sure his eyes aren't fucked up, for one, because I know what fucked up eyes look like, homie.
How do you know?
I know because my eyes are fucked up all the time. I know what they look like, and you're picking my fucking daughter up.
Okay.
I just need to know that you're not driving fast. I don't know how to. You can't. There's only so much you could do. You could scare the kid, but he could be like, "Fuck you," and that's got to be the most terrifying thing.
What do you think I would say?
Hi, how are you? Do you know I'm going to be on TV next weekend? Fox Sports. That's what you're going to say. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But the point is, that's got to be a terrifying experience if you have a daughter and the dude picks her up for the first time.
I had experiences like that in high school, too, where people thought it was cool to drive with their headlights off, going the wrong way on like a 2-lane road, where you just want to absolutely, kill the guy who's driving.
But you can't touch him because he's really going to get in an accident.
Exactly. And I was actually in a couple of bad car accidents when I was in high school. Hit a tree one time. I think I had a Dairy Queen shake that I was holding, Cam, that like exploded all over me. Okay, so luckily no one got hurt in the car. No one got hurt. But, I mean, we hit a tree, whatever. Everybody was healthy. Not healthy, but everybody survived the accident, man. But, again, when you have kids, that has got to be the most nerve-wracking thing ever when their friends start driving or they start driving.
They start driving.
And you know what they have now? Because I see it.
Tracker.
They have a tracker.
Yep.
So they know exactly where they are.
How fast they're going?
How fast they're going.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
See, that's it. Then.
So I know buddies that like will text their daughter or their son and be like, you need to slow down.
And you know what? You don't have to be, you could still be a lenient parent and have that. I don't want you driving fast. You could sit here and drink all you want here. I'm lenient on all kinds of shit. You driving that fucking car fast or you're in a car with somebody driving fast, I ain't putting up with that shit. And that is because, I mean, how many car accidents? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And so it's just not a cool thing. And here's another thing too, like, I had to get rid of my fucking Corvette, man. It's too dangerous. Like it rains.
You shouldn't be driving that anyway.
It fucking rains. I'm sliding all over the fucking place.
Can't
dude.
drive those in the rain.
No way. No. And then I'll tell you this. I'm not gonna. My cousin, fuck it. He let somebody drive his fucking Corvette. He's like, "Let me drive your Corvette."
What, you guys all have Corvettes?
We did at the same time. We're all making money. We're all partying and looking cool and going down to Harry's and shit like that. Like, yeah, fucking right, we did.
Just your cousin that I know?
Yes.
Okay. He had a Corvette too?
Fuck yeah. We both got it at the same time. So he has his buddy. His buddy's like, "Let me drive your car. Let me drive your car." And poor Derek, who's just like the coolest dude in the world. And he's probably like,
this dude took his car and wrecked
Took his motherfucking car. Derek's in it. I'm in Nottingham. I'm in fucking Nottingham. And I get a call that he gets in a fucking car accident with it.
Really?
And he wasn't driving. And
Was he okay and everything?
Everything's fine, but okay. The car was fucking totaled.
Really?
Yes, and he survived in a
what
fucking
color was it?
Black on black.
Whose was nicer, yours or his?
Mine was new. It doesn't matter. This motherfucker was going so fast, and I could see Derek probably in that thing like, slow down. And then all of a sudden it sweared off and fucking gets in a car accident. Dude.
I know.
I almost flew home from Nottingham and motherfucked this guy up myself.
Really?
I was
Are they still friends today?
Fucking rattled.
Would you still be friends with that person?
No. It wasn't even a buddy. It was just like an acquaintance that loved cars, that always bragged about cars.
He
peer pressured him,
I know
man.
a guy, he was crazy, and he would do that. He would drive down the highway with his lights off, and he would do the same thing on his motorcycle.
Oh, don't get me started.
And he would stand on his motorcycle, not holding the bars, and to stand on
the seat
while
you're not
it's
hurting
going.
anybody else on a motorcycle.
I know. He's just kind of crazy.
I don't hang out with fuckheads like that. I don't do it.
No. So
I don't do it.
Anyway, so but our thoughts are with these parents, man. I can't imagine
rattled today, dude.
what they're going through. 3 young kids.
Oh, Jesus.
Just playing hockey, and just getting a car accident, and it's over
a
just like that.
fucked up day today, guys.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to be we're so usually in a different kind of mood, and we just had a great interview with Jeff Gorton, and I don't know, man. Once you start talking about this, and we finally looked at our phone for the first time in a couple hours, Andy. And it's just I'm fucked up.
No, it's terrible.
Man. I feel for those 2 boys, man. I feel for the family. I feel for Shaney and fucking Uppy, man. We love you guys, dude. All you guys over there. The producer for Mr. Curfew. All you guys that have been engaged with him, man. We're thinking about you, and we love you.
Yeah.
So sorry, man. I just, don't fucking drive
and for
fast
his brother,
cars.
Kevin, dude. I mean,
Yep.
That's
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be some long days coming up.
Yep.
For a lot of people.
And 2 kids. So.
No. Anyway, well, we still got a long ways to go here, and what do you want to get into?
Well, there's a lot of things to get into. First off, the Arizona Coyotes. Do you have a take on that, real quick?
What a fucking... Well, they're going lease to lease every year, right? Like, this doesn't happen.
Well, so Glendale, they don't want them.
They don't want you.
So Glendale's like, we don't want you in Glendale, so you need to go. And,
okay.
And Arizona, kind of say this, Arizona, even in the press release, is kind of like, and some even suggest it's a negotiating tactic, which it very well may be. But, like, it's time to move on.
Get the fuck out of there.
Okay, no one's going to the games. You're way outside of town.
Not
this
working.
Is the story that'll never end. The owners of Arizona, listen, apparently they found a piece of land in Tempe that they really like.
Where's Tempe at? Northern Arizona?
No, that's down, like, where Arizona State is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful, dude. And their vision is to turn it into like an LA Live type environment, where they have like restaurants and stuff like that, where
just like they did in Glendale. Oh, okay.
Well, no, where they have like in LA, like where the Staples Center is, they have that's called LA Live, whatever, where they have businesses and stuff like that. But here's the deal.
Down where Staples Center kind of sucks, dude.
No.
It doesn't?
No, it's nice down there.
Fuck, every time I walk out of Staples Center, I'm like, where are we going, Beverly
Hills? They
Hills?
got the Ritz right there. They got,
what are you going to do with the Ritz?
I'm just saying there's nice hotels. That's where ESPN is.
And that's fine, but there's not that much going on right there at all in L.A.
If you're going to a game?
Right there in downtown?
If you're a fan going to the game, like there's great places to hang out before the game and walk right over.
All right. I didn't. Okay.
I'm not talking like if you're a player and the game's over and you want to go out for the night, but if you're a fan going down to the Kings game and all of a sudden there's a bunch of bars and restaurants right across the street from the rink.
Okay. Are they, because they just built that up, or was that there?
It's been there for a while.
Okay.
I just don't think you know what I'm talking about.
I don't no idea what you're talking about. Because here's my point is I think whenever I evaluate every single rink and what's surrounding that rink,
I think
I'm
you're
not
thinking of like the Inglewood Forum or something where like Magic Johnson used to play.
I'm just saying, I'm not throwing motherfucking. I'm not throwing L.A. in that mix. Like L.A., we never even did anything there.
It's like an entertainment district right there, right across the street from the building, whatever. So it's a great spot to hang out before or after the game.
You got to have.
They have like the Grammys and stuff down there all the time. Okay. Like that's where like
Fuck
a lot of
here's
stuff.
The deal.
Whatever, it could be the freaking Oscars. I don't know.
Andy, you could say all you want about tempeh and how beautiful it is.
You ever eaten tempeh?
I don't know.
Tempeh it's a vegetarian food. Dude. You would absolutely love it, actually.
So anyway, the point is, tempeh could be fucking beautiful and girls in their skirts all the time and da 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 da. Are they going to go to a motherfucking game? Are people in Arizona going to go to a fucking game and support it? Like, I don't know. It's not working. Do you think Tempe is going to have a better chance of recruiting recruiting people? I don't know. Well, Houston, maybe.
Here's the answer.
Kansas City, I don't know.
Here's the answer. And I think that's a great question, but it's way better than being in Glendale. You know how far Glendale is from everyone who lives in like the suburbs and even in the city, whatever, in Phoenix, Arizona? Dude, it's way outside of town. It'd be like if the Blues were playing where you live. Like, honestly.
In the wealthy part of Franklin County?
No, like just 45 minutes outside of town.
No, I know.
And all of a sudden it's a Tuesday night game, you're getting off work, and like, who has time to drive down there?
I played there a million times. I remember flying in. It takes forever. And not to mention, like, they're strict on fucking drinking and driving.
So, again, you put all of a sudden a building in Tempe, I mean, you got a better chance of fans going to those games versus going all the way out to Glendale, dude.
Yeah, I got to look at the.
It's not going to turn into Toronto if that's what you're asking, where they're
like
diehard like hockey fans.
Did I say it was? But how about you just have 6,000 people
But
there?
Even back in the day when they used to play at America West Arena,
J.R.
Ronick and Teppo Numanen,
Yeah, he's played like 15 billion games.
Habby Bullen, all those guys. So they used to get great crowds. And that was a terrible place to watch an NHL game, dude. Half the building you couldn't even see.
Like the Barclays, or like the Barclays Center.
Where's that? Oh, yeah.
Like the Barclays Center.
Long Island.
Oh, let's get those $10 tickets. That's awesome.
But it's time, Arizona. Like, let's figure to the south.
Actually, Arizona, fuck you. I'm done with you. Get the fuck out of there. All these guys like, I want to go golf down there. I don't give a shit. How's your escrow doing? Haven't you got hit enough by that shit? Get the fuck out of that state. We tried, it didn't work. Let's try somewhere else.
People were saying that about Florida a couple years ago, too.
Get the fuck out of Florida, too. They're not. How about this? This year, Florida's supposed to be really good. Let's see where their fucking attendance is.
So this is,
No, I'm just saying.
You're right.
Like, if you have a sexy, cool team and you're still not drawing shit, well, fuck you, too.
Remember last year? They were like the only building that like allowed fans, and they had like more. They
had more fans outside. Yeah. And they still didn't. It's just some places ain't working. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know where to put them. But would it be good for the NHL to have a team in Quebec? I don't think so. Those people in Quebec are watching anyway. They're watching hockey no matter what. You put something down in Houston, that's a different story. Now you got a huge different fan base. Maybe KC, fucking Milwaukee. That'd be fucking cool. That'd be really cool. Milwaukee, goddamn right. You're up north. You could bounce around. You go to Minnesota, you hit Chicago, blah, 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 blah. Arizona ain't working, partner. Might as well go to fucking Arkansas.
And now they're rebuilding. They're going to be bad for the next couple of years.
Does Hossa and Pronger play on that
they're
going
to get rid of all these other guys, too.
Who's
next
other cats?
Season. Like, Kessel and whatever. Kessel has one more year, whatever. I'm just saying they're gonna shed even more salary after next year.
Oh, they love getting those.
But they have a shit ton of second round picks, and they've got first round picks now too. They'll keep moving guys.
it's just not.
So they're not going to win the next several years, but they got to find a home to play in 2022 before we move on. And they've got a couple of options. Apparently, there's been talk about putting the ice in the building where ASU basketball plays.
Oh, God.
Or playing at the old,
oh my God,
it's like called the Arts and Entertainment Coliseum, something like that.
Oh my,
Call it the Coliseum.
American League team.
It's the Coliseum. That's where, the old IHL used to play there.
Andy, this is ridiculous.
The Roadrunners.
That fucking sucks.
Did you ever play in the IHL?
Fuck no. Never played in the IHL or East Coast, any of that.
You may have been good in the IHL actually back in the day.
I don't know. I probably would have fought a lot. That's good. But it's like, I feel bad for Keller, man. I don't know. I could be just a
making $7 million.
He's okay. Like, don't get me wrong. And he's probably not taking guys out, which I need to talk to him about when we see him next. But the point is, like, it's not a fun environment to play in, man. Like, I don't know about the organization itself, the internal part of it. I don't know. But Bill Armstrong's a badass dude. Love him to death. And there's some good players on that team.
Well, he's going about it the right way right now.
Yeah, dude. He's a classy, cool, smart man. Big, handsome bugger, too. Looks tough. But you don't have an atmosphere. And if you played in front of an atmosphere before, it just amplifies everything in a player, man. It just does. And they didn't have that. And it's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, what they're not doing, but it ain't working. And something needs to happen. And Glendale's like, we don't give a fuck. And they're like, oh, that's degrading shit.
Would you sign Chara if you're a team?
100% I would.
You would?
Yeah, I would take the risk of him being goofy, weird in the locker room and wanting more ice time. I would take that risk just to have him fucking skate around in warm-ups and penalty kill and then deal with them. But you'd have to have some veteran players on there that kind of just know and kind of like, I don't know, man. I would. I know he might
guys now are like 13 years younger than him.
No shit. But on the other hand, it's like, you know what? Here's your role.
Years.
Like, I'd take that risk on him. He's not making he won't ask for a ton of money.
No.
But I'd play him. Damn right I'd take him, dude.
Well, he wants to stay in the Eastern Conference, so like we'll see where he plays. He may be a guy that comes in and joins a team after the season starts. You never know.
Yeah, he's
just
going to
call his own shots.
Do whatever you want, dude. Like, how nice is that? Like, do I want to play? Do I not? Like, Joe Thornton's like, what do I want to do? I'm going to go down to Florida and hang out. There's a good team, and Coach Q is probably pretty cool, and I'll help the young kids and golf of your goddamn day.
Oh, what'd you do this weekend, by the way? You have a good weekend? Did you golf a lot? How's your golf game?
It's, I don't know. Kate hit a ball farther than me one time.
Did she?
Here's the deal. Let me tell all y'all something. If you take your girl and you me and my buddy who's really good at golf, fucking awesome, played in high school and all that shit. Him and his wife, who's terrible. My wife, not good at all. And we're like, let's play together. They're like, let's play. I'm like, okay. And I'm so impatient. And like, we go up to the first tee box and his wife's like, what do I do now? Do I do this? Oh, the ball fell. I'm like, oh, fuck, this is going to take forever. So finally I'm like, okay, I go, Jason, go over. I go, let them hit. And then we'll hit, and we'll go up, and they could just follow us.
She wasn't with you?
No, they're in a different cart.
Joined in with them?
No. We started off on
do you know her?
It's his wife, my buddy's wife.
Jason's
wife.
And so you're talking about his wife to him?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, you're trying to get him to like get it under control.
I go,
here.
we're not staying here all night. I go, don't teach her. Just let her and Kate have fun and listen to music. And they want to hit a ball. We'll go in front of them. Let them hit it out to us. They'll pick the fucking ball up and they'll find it. I'm not waiting for they're going to hit it 3 feet and then they're going to hit it. We're not doing that. You're on my time, Jason. This is my membership. We're going to go ahead. And then it worked out that the girls had a good time. They fucking shot the shit. They listened to music. They hit balls when they wanted to.
Well, you shouldn't have the music going. Is that allowed?
That's allowed, dude. They put the thing in there on in the golf cart. But I did hit a 35-foot putt on the first try, and I posted that mug. And
I saw the video.
That's about it.
Your form was just okay.
I look goofy. My ass looks fat.
What are you doing? Why are you doing
I don't know.
Your elbows.
But your elbow's supposed to be like
well, you need my compression sleeve, dude. Like, you should borrow my compression sleeve.
Well, it's not going to fit me.
Well, it will fit.
Give me your compression leg thing, and I might fit my left arm. But I sunk a 35-footer in front of a waterfall, and it was pretty sexy.
The waterfall is loud, too. I mean, how do you concentrate with that waterfall?
You just got to be fucking patient, dude, and just know your shit.
So you played at the 11th ranked golf course in Missouri? Is that where you played?
No, it's like the 8th.
I looked it up. It's number 11.
Lewis and Clark is?
Number 11, dude. They just had the rankings. Brody can vouch right now.
Fuck. I'm getting out of there now. I might have to move. Sorry, Andy.
So the 11th ranked golf course. I love it. But
in Missouri?
What about Tavern? There's a lot of golf courses.
Yeah, no shit.
But they were in the top 10 at one point.
Yeah, both of them. There's 2 courses on that.
Well, it depends which ranking you look at.
The Tavern's always under, or Lewis and Clark is a better. It's a pro course where all the big tournaments are.
The greens look good.
They're all good, dude. It's fancy as shit.
Mm-hmm. So when you like hit the ball, it went in 35-foot putt.
35-foot putt. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you felt good about that.
First drive. But then I go up, and then people are behind me, and I hit I duff it. And you're like, fuck, it's embarrassing, man. But it's fun. Look, if you could have your girl go out when the sun's coming down, you're having cocktails, you listen to music, no one's behind you, no one's fucking with you. You live a half a mile away. You can get fucked up and just walk home or whatever the hell you want to do. It's really nice, man. And Kate and I had a lovely time, although her and Shannon suck, and I have no patience.
Well, you got to have patience.
I'm just saying.
You got to have the patience.
Not that day. Not that day. I'm like, just follow us, do your thing. But we're not. Jason's like, okay, Shannon, this is what you do. Now, bend your arm. I'm like, no. You teach her on the range some other day or beforehand. But right now, not today.
No,
let's just go.
There's practice and there's game
Come
day.
on,
like
Andy, help me. You'll see what I'm talking about when you start taking.
I'm going to play with you like next week, I think.
Yeah, and I'm going to be like, hurry the fuck up. Well, I'm a speed up. I hate playing with slow golfers. That is the biggest pet peeve of mine. One of them. I have a lot of pet peeves. If you're a slow golfer, meticulous, let me look at this one more time, and you're good, then so be it, because that's your groove. If you know how to read the fucking thing and you take your time, you do your thing, and that's what you do every single time, then go ahead and you're good. But when you take your time and you're doing this because everybody else does, and you go up there and you fucking suck and you're still a slow golfer, I ain't got no time for it, homie. Okay. No time.
Today's the first day of school, by the way, for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like all the posts that you see on Instagram? People like post?
Sorry, Andy. It's number 7 and number 8 are both.
There's all different rankings. There's a lot of different.
Sure, Andy.
There's a lot of somebody.
Thanks,
like,
Brody.
Like a football team, maybe rank like 9th in one poll, and then like.
Where's your golf course ranked? What's yours?
What do you mean?
You're at the racket club. My racket club's ranked like 13th.
My racket club. I think we're ranked actually top 5 racket clubs.
It's really cool. That's really cool.
They have grass courts.
Yeah.
Okay, the first day of school, dude, all the parents post the pictures.
Yeah.
Like the little chalkboard. This is the first.
Can I say something?
Do you like these or no?
Very cute. Just don't have masks on your kids in front of your fucking front porch, please.
Not in front of your front porch.
And don't look. Wear a mask. You have to wear them. No doubt about it. We get it. It helps stop the spread. Fine.
But you can take it off at home. Yeah.
Thank you. When you take pictures of yourself in your car as a selfie or your children, and there's no one around you, and you're outside or in your home, take your fucking mask off so I can see who it is. Why are you taking a picture of your kid on your front porch and they have masks on? They're probably like, I don't know who it is. Like, why do that? It's ridiculous. They got to wear it all fucking day anyway. I want to see what the cute kid looks like. This looks like a mask to me. He looks like every other kid. Take the damn thing off for the picture. Put it back on if you want. They probably got to wear it in school anyway.
School is early.
Damn.
I'm dropping them off at like 7:15 in the morning, dude. Like, it's early.
It's good. Aren't you like, good? Get out of here.
I guess he's got to get everybody up. My wife's the hardest one to wake up, dude.
Oh, that's mine too.
In the house.
She'll sleep till the fucking cows come home, dude.
She's like the last
till the fucking
one.
Cows come home.
I'm like, you got to wake up now.
I get up before all the girls in my house. 2 puppies, the kitty cat, Kate, they'll sleep. I get up like a motherfucker, dude. I'm up no matter what. I need my coffee. I'm doing my thing. Saturday,
I noticed
Sunday, doesn't matter.
You changed your Facebook profile picture.
To Kate?
Yeah, well, that's like from 10 years ago.
4 years ago.
I mean, what do you just like going through your phone, finding old pictures?
Yeah, it's just it's for the thing. It's for the
circle, the
profile. For profile. So everybody sees Kate looking over a beautiful sea with her ass and the yacht wear on the fucking background. Why wouldn't I post that?
It's 4 years ago. I mean,
Kate looks the same.
Social media is like to keep people updated with what's going on now. Like what are you doing now?
I just posted a fucking thing of me hitting I'm hitting fucking 35 footers. That's what I'm doing. Oh, your elbow. Oh, you okay? Jeez.
Seriously, people ask me. Oh, yeah. I appreciate those who have reached out to ask me about my elbow.
They are lying.
The swelling has gone down a little bit, you know.
Dude, it looks like a regular little elbow. Yeah. With a little arm attached.
It's amazing
to it.
that I was able to fight through it, though. And
fight through what? Driving?
Well, just the pain that I've been dealing with.
What, typing on your phone?
Cellulitis, dude. That's what they officially diagnosed it with. Cellulitis.
You got cellulite?
It's not cellulite.
Awful.
There's difference. Like cellulite. You
don't have cellulite.
No, cellulitis was the name. It's like when it's infected. It's like a bursa sac
people care
situation. Ty skating, you had some.
Looks good.
You had some feedback on that for me?
Okay. Ty, he's skating. He's fucking flying around. And he showed me a pic, and he ran to the boards. And then he goes back and goes 100 miles an hour and stops on his left foot. It took me a long time My right foot, I got it down. But the kids, when they get on their left foot, if they're right,
there a difference?
If you're right-footed, it's just easier to stop on your right foot. If you're not, and you're able to do that, so now he's able to stop on his left foot as a right footer. It just helps. I mean, it's harder to do that. So if he gets that down, man, he's in a good spot. Stopping is hard as a kid, and it turns him off. And if you can't get it down, you want to quit hockey and not skate anymore. But once you get that stopping down, dude, you're spraying the fucking glass. You're spraying your buddies. You're doing this, you're doing that. Now you're like, I can't wait to go stop with the skate behind my other skate and do cool things. That's what we do, learn to skate, and I finally learned how to stop. Then you go and you spray the glass. Who can spray the glass higher? You know what I mean? How that ice goes up there to the top part of the glass.
How do you do that? Like where it gets that high?
You got to skate fast, Andy.
Is it fast?
You're not going to be able to do that. But Ty will, and then you get competition with your buddies, and then now you love skating. Now you put everything else together after the skating part, man. He's got to be rollerblading though.
Oh, really?
Still got to keep rollerblading. Goddamn right.
Yeah.
What are you going to just pay for ice time every fucking time? So every time he learns, you got to pay $150 for ice time? No. Go skate in the fucking park with your rollerblades on and stick handle with those little biscuit pucks.
Yeah, the biscuit pucks.
Every fucking weekend, dude. Anytime you have time to do that, you should go to that little park and stick handle with Ty with his rollerblades on with the hard wheels, hard asphalt wheels.
What do you think of the kids that like push and shove and like fight, act crazy when they're in line? Like, not while the game's going on, but like when they're in line. Because like I see this being around some kids. Like some kids just like they freak out, dude. They lose
in the line.
Yeah, in the line.
Like in lineup for a
the
drill.
Next drill, yeah.
Well, then they're not into it. Okay, unless they're pissed off about like a different drill that they battled and they're pissed at each other and they want to go or something like that, it's different. But if he's just fucking around in line, that means you're not paying attention to what's going on and the next step of the drill is. So he's just it's like I always reference the kid in soccer when you're young picking flowers in the middle of the fucking field when everybody's cruising around going after the ball. When your kid's doing that, you got problems.
Like at what age? Because sometimes they just do it because they're young.
Well,
you know?
I don't know, like 6, 7, 8.
Oh, really? You just cut them off and say, "Hey, maybe soccer's
like
not
if
for
they're
you.
not even aggressive and they're picking fucking flowers, like look at my flower. Like they're not
let's
in.
not do it.
So like you better be like a tech CEO or something, but you ain't no athlete. And that's fine.
Yeah, just go spend more time in your room and like build something.
Study something. Let's look at medicine here. But yeah, and that's the same as a hockey thing, man. If the kid's just fucking off the whole time, if you're watching your kid and he's in line, he's fucking off, and he's like, "What do I do? I don't know. What do I do?" Like you gotta sit his ass down. He's not in it, dude. He's not in it. He's just there because you told him to go there. There's always those tall tale signs, man. If your kid's really into it and he's fucking not. And I can go look right now and tell you if he's in it or not, man. And the first thing is he's fucking around in line, not paying attention to the drill.
How much should hockey cost?
God damn, I don't know, man. It's expensive, dude. How can it not cost that much money? Look at the atmosphere you have to deal with. It's not football. Not baseball. You just get a ball and glove and bat. Let's go to that little thing. You got to have a goddamn ice surface, dude. That costs a shit ton of money. Then you got to have equipment head to fuck toe.
Dude, it's not
with
cheap.
Expensive weapons, meaning your skates and your sticks.
But nothing's cheap.
And they break.
Soccer isn't cheap. None of the other sports.
Yeah, but
are cheap.
how is soccer? What do they pay? How is that expensive? I don't get it. They got to cut the grass.
It's like
soccer balls.
It's like over like $2,000.
You don't need equipment
for the season.
You don't need shit. You just need a field.
It is over $2,000.
Fucking ridiculous. You could go play in your backyard for free.
I was thinking about having my
Your
own
backyard.
league. I was
You
going
could
to
do in
set
your
up a
backyard.
league in my backyard. Actually,
Half court, backyard, whatever. You could put a
Charge
fucking
money.
net, dude. Like, what are you paying for? What are you paying for? In hockey, you're paying for goddamn all kinds of shit. Ice time. The ice costs a shit ton of money. It costs a lot of money to keep that thing fucking solid. I get where the expense is coming in hockey, but in soccer, like what? Are they coming from the fucking sky?
I don't know. You hear that thunder?
Yeah, I do.
Well, tell us what that is, dude.
Well, it's thunder. It's not rotating. It's a head. There's an anvil cloud, but it's not rotating.
You don't see anything out there.
There's an anvil cloud right there,
what
dude.
makes it an anvil cloud?
It looks like an anvil. It means it's the cold air and the hot air. Blah, 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 it's going up, but it's not rotating. It's just headwinds, man. It's just a thunderstorm. We need it, dude. My grass fucking needs it.
I've been watching some of these shows, by the way. Cocaine Cowboy.
Yeah,
you told me to watch that.
bye.
I mean, I'm not dealing with this show anymore. I don't know what's going on. These guys are like
slanging that. Yeah.
They're smuggling drugs in like a speedboat. Am I seeing this right?
You're goddamn right.
Were they competing as speedboaters?
Which is so dumb. But that's how they embezzled their money is through these speed. No one knows how they came from Cuba. And they're driving around, and everybody's like, "Oh, you came from fucking Cuba, and how much money you making? What do you do, sir? What do you do? Were you successful in Cuba before you came over
is
here?
he winning all the boat races?
Yeah, but how did he get the money to buy the boat from Cuba? Back then, especially, when everybody's trying to flee that mug, and all of a sudden now you're a fucking you're a multi-millionaire?
Drawing too much attention to himself.
Big time, dude. Big time. That's
Does
always
a
how you get
speedboat have that much room inside it to like
goddamn right.
pack it in?
Oh my god, yeah, dude. You know what they have now?
My Chris Craft had like
you could put.
We had a lot of stuff in my Chris Craft.
They would pimp those things out so
Nothing
bad.
illegal or anything like that, but we had
that sucks for you.
We packed lunch and stuff.
And that must
like
not have been
you
a
know?
fun time. There's nothing illegal in that mug.
We packed some lunch.
But yeah, Andy, that's how they do it. And now they have submarines, dude.
I've heard of that.
They have submarines, and they have these weird boats, man. They're all just made from scratch, fucking weird looking, where they're just a little bit above the water to where if you're the helicopter coming out, unless they have heat signal, you can't see it, man. And but nowadays, dude, it's so tough to fucking smuggle. But when the borders open down south, that's where it's coming in at.
So listen, I just had my birthday. I went out to dinner this past weekend, and there was a guy who like knew us, and he's at the bar. We're sitting at a table, and he sends a cake over. Like a cake over to the table. Like I thought, like that's like really nice. Whatever. Are you gonna
before you eat?
Am I going to bring it back after we eat? Like we just sat down.
Do you tell him, "Am I a fucking child? Why do I want a fucking cake? Give me a bottle of wine."
I want like a bottle of wine. My wife's like, I want to take some champagne or something. He says it's the cake. Nobody wants.
I don't eat cake. I'm drinking and eating a fucking steak.
So I didn't know what to do with it. I'm like,
give it to a kid.
Does he want it? Like, can you put it in the freezer?
He probably got it for free.
It's like, dude, send us over. We hadn't even ordered yet. I need some cocktail. I don't want a cake.
Give me a cocktail, dude.
It's a tough spot.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, oh, gee, thanks for the cake. No. Go ahead and keep that. Give me a cocktail.
Yeah, tough spot.
I think you know who that was, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
He should know better.
Yeah, he should know better.
He should know better.
Send us over a cake.
Like, you're like, you cheap motherfucker.
Thought it was the greatest
you cheap
thing ever,
motherfucker.
too.
You're like, you're cheap, dude. Send me a bottle of champagne,
I
like
don't
a pimp.
Call him out. Don't want to call him out.
Nah, I won't call him out.
A couple things real quick. Robert Thomas, listen, like talking to the Blues, you get to this stage of the offseason, like there's a chance like it may end up just being a 1-year deal. Like, I mean, we saw that with Vince Dunn. We've seen that with other guys. I mean, if you can't agree on a long-term extension at this stage or even like a bridge deal, then chances are a 1-year deal seems possible. All right, Jeff Gorton, who's on this edition of the Cam Strick Podcast. Like, I wanted to get this guy on. Saw him on TV. Seems like a cool guy.
Really cool.
Interesting story. He's been in the mix of a lot of different things. Like this whole Tom Wilson thing. I mean, I almost feel like if that event doesn't happen, like he probably doesn't get fired with 3 games left to go in the season.
Yeah, it's not performance based. I'll tell you that right now, because he was trending in the right direction, man. Like they had a cool team. He's done some great work there, and they were kind of moving in the right direction. And they weren't that far off making the playoffs. I mean, it was kind of right there.
Well,
to the
made
end.
the bubble, but they
but whatever with that. But the next
they lost in 3 or whatever it was against Carolina.
But last year though. Mm-hmm. They were still in a pretty good spot.
They missed the playoffs, like 17 through 19, something like that.
Yeah, so now, okay. But the point is, like, that whole thing was the reason. I mean, it all kind of hell broke loose, chaotic, and all of a sudden they get fired, and they're probably like, okay, thank you, Tom Wilson. You devalued the whole organization. You hurt our guy. Now he get us fucking fired.
Owner sounds crazy, huh?
Yeah, I know, man. Like, they sign off on that, not telling JD or anything.
Basically, he's saying, like, hey, when you saw the press release, what did it say in the press release? I had the
oh my god,
the little quote written
bashing
down.
Georgie Peros.
Oh, they're bashing, and it was like what was it?
Should have got dinged. Don't get me wrong, he should have got dinged, but it's like whatever. It wasn't even that big of a deal. The guy just threw him down. Just looked goofy and awkward, and we like Panarin. You don't want to see Panarin get hurt, but on the other hand, it's like get the fuck off me too.
Yeah, well,
already broke that down, but it's like Tom Wilson, Jesus Christ.
The owner called it a horrifying act of violence. Is that what it was? Was it a horrifying act of violence or no?
Horrifying act of violence is what Marty McSorley did down at Brashear. A horrifying act of violence is what Jesse Bulleries did to fucking old boy we had on Kessler. A horrifying act of violence is Steve Downey running over Dean McCammon behind the net, or what I did to Caberlet, or whatever. Hardcore fucking hits, hardcore slashes, something, you know.
Well, he threw him down.
Threw him fucking down. He threw him down. He was on his back. He turned around and he threw him down.
Some people watching that may never watch hockey again. They think it's just too violent.
Good. Who the fuck said that? Jesus Christ.
Somebody
That's
probably
the stupidest thing in the world.
Somebody did.
I think somebody's like, if my kid watches that, he's going to never want to. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You're like, whoa, what's that? Like, yeah. You know what he's going to do? When it's a boring fucking game, there's not one hit. Maybe he'll be turned off by that. Mm-hmm. But when it's some crazy stuff going on. Not super crazy shit. Don't slash a guy in the fucking face. Don't cross-check somebody in the head like Jesse Boris did. None of that shit. Or fucking Steve, God, who's the one dude that not...
Donald Brashear.
How about, Buckburger. No.
Kelly Buckburger?
No, who? God, it was, man. I don't know. There's some bad...
Well, we saw what happened to Ryan Smith in that men's league game, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That was a horrifying act of violence.
But what Tom did, the bitch of it was that it's him. He started doing flexing his muscles and like just stupid shit that we chirped him for. But as far as horrifying act of violence, that's a fucking scrum, and somebody got thrown down. And that's it. He even hit his head. Almost did, but he didn't. If he would have hit his head and somebody else, then maybe he could hit. But it wasn't that big of a deal. He just kind of got nicked up because his knee was fucked up. It was already fucked up. And that's it. And then all hell broke loose. And it devalued your organization.
Oh, my God. Now they got Reaver there. What do you think of Reaver being there?
Yeah, man. Go to Broadway,
he's
baby.
Perfect spot. It's
Perfect.
Just
go do your thing. You're not
they don't even know who Sammy Blais is. They're just like...
Sammy Blais, you're going to love him, too.
Dude, he's going to be hitting.
Yeah, he's going to be crushing cats. Note to self. If you're paying a guy $5 schmil and he's got a fucking podcast, tell him to go fuck himself, and he's not getting paid.
Really?
Fuck that. A podcast while you're playing?
So you think players should not do podcasts?
No. Own your own podcast. Mm-hmm. Not go on podcasts. You can go on a podcast, and even then you got to be a little wary about it, and we own one. For
you're
current
saying
players.
They shouldn't own one. They shouldn't host their own.
They shouldn't host their own political podcast when you're playing for a fucking team.
A political one.
No, even not a political one. Not any podcast. Go on them. Have your podcast when you're done making $5 million a year from a fucking organization. You don't need to do that. You don't need to have a podcast talking about you and your teammates every fucking day when you're still playing on that fucking team. It's stupid.
Well, you get into that.
Fucking stupid.
We get into all that.
He should have put his fucking foot down right off the bat on that.
With Tony?
Like, no, you don't. Just don't do it.
You know, he had some history, too, back in junior and stuff.
I'm just saying, Tony, I'd be like, fuck you, you're doing a podcast. A political one, nonetheless, in New York City, a right-wing, Trump-loving political podcast while you're in liberal New York City playing for the Rangers. Go fuck yourself.
Even Raleigh, though, like some season ticket holders have
They
threatened to pull out.
Dude, you can't bring D. Trump into anything. Don't do it. Don't even talk about him. Don't do anything if you're fucking playing. Like, don't do any of that shit. Go play your fucking game. And if you want to tweet about different things here and there and they let you do it, fine. But a podcast, a political podcast, no way.
Let me ask you this. Could you imagine being a PR intern? Like, you're an intern. Like, I think about some of these interns who have come through the Blues organization, whatever, who you get to know, like, and then all of a sudden they become general manager or assistant general manager. I mean, and they're interim general manager. He was interim GM of the Boston Bruins and had, like, one of the most successful years I've seen out of an NHL GM in a long time. Like, you look at the players he signed, Chara, Savard, some of these guys that he drafted. He traded for Rask. He drafted Marchand in the 3rd round, Lucic in the 2nd round. And you get Phil Kessel in the 1st round. Like, that's a pretty good run for 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
And they had already hired Peter Chiarelli, whatever. But this guy started as a PR intern, then works for the PR department and builds his way all the way up. Like, will we ever see that again? Like, will that happen again?
Yeah.
It will?
It happens all the time. You work your way up and become a GM.
Well, it does in other businesses. I mean, you just don't see it too often in hockey, dude.
How'd Army do it?
It's amazing. I mean, but I will say this, though. So Army was working... we talked about this with him when he came on the pod. You know, he was working in team services. He was at the Capitals and the Minnesota North Stars before they moved to Dallas. And obviously, Bob Gainey is the guy who took him under his wing. He was probably doing
some grunt work.
But his dad was a Hall of Fame linesman.
Yeah.
And then he was a longtime scout for the Montreal Canadiens. Like, he did have, like, a hockey father who worked in the NHL and whatever, had those connections. Like I said, he worked with Montreal. Gainey had the Montreal connection. So
what about how did Lou do it?
I don't know, man.
Went through Providence College, worked his way up.
He didn't like it when you asked him what kind of player he was.
No, because I should have known that because...
Why? Was that a bad question?
Yeah, and it's stupid on my part.
Why?
Though, because he never talks about himself in his playing time. Never does. And that's like a thing I should have known. Mm-hmm. And I did know it, and I didn't think too much of it because I just wanted to know it. I thought he was going to be like, I penalty killed and da-da-da. But he doesn't talk about himself when it comes to that.
He kind of said you should know better.
That's exactly right. I should have known better. That he doesn't do that.
Well, why'd you ask him that?
I fucked up. That's why. What do you mean say? Why do I do all kinds of stupid shit? I just fucked up. I'm like, damn, why'd I do that?
Hey, listen, we got a little promotion that's going on right now for our listeners. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got to encourage people to do this, Cam.
Yeah.
Okay? So, here's the deal. Here's how it goes. All right? We got a contest now until September 12th, with the winner being announced on the show like shortly after that, whatever. So, we're going to take this through September 12th. Here's what you have to do, people. All you have to do is leave a review on the Apple Podcast. We've been telling people to leave a review.
Got to do that, man. It helps us out a lot.
Spotify.
Helps us out a lot.
However you listen, leave a review. Then screenshot your review. DM it to us on our Instagram at Cam Strick Pod. Send us a direct message, and then the winner's going to receive like a full-on like cameo from me.
Why would you say that? Because now that no one's going to give a fuck. But isn't it?
15-minute video. Like we'll hang out.
Okay, like
have
on a
some
Zoom.
cocktails. We'll do like a Zoom. Brody will set up like whatever, and we'll just like shoot the shit for 15 minutes, 30 minutes.
So they could see us and they could talk back and forth. So it's different than a cameo.
Cam does like 6.5-minute cameos.
Yeah, I know. I just go on.
Mine are shorter than that.
Yeah.
Okay?
They're really short.
Okay.
They're really, really short. But yeah, so we'll do a cool Zoom with you guys, man. We'll chill. We'll fucking shoot, answer your questions. Mm-hmm. We'll chirp each other, whatever. And plus, we're going to send you a little care package too.
Yeah.
We got a little care package. We'll get your address and we'll send you something nice.
Whoever we pick
from the Cam Strick Gear Lounge, baby.
Yeah.
We got some good shit and we'll send you something special.
Yeah. So
okay.
check all that out. All the merchandise,
15 minutes
whatever.
will probably go a little longer than that.
All them probably.
All
the merchandise is you can check that out on www.camandstrick.com.
Yeah, and the thing is, guys, you get with the review thing. We don't like bugging people to do shit, but if you want us to keep going,
you got to put a rating and a review.
Yeah, you got to help us with this stuff, man. Like we work our ass off on it, and there's different algorithms that need to like. You have to kind of keep going. I don't know. It's hard. It's fucking confusing. That's why we have guys that are smarter than us doing helping us with that kind of stuff. But what we do know is we're going to tell you guys, man. You guys are all loyal as shit. And, we want to get a little intimate with you if we can, but we definitely need to
screenshot it, message
review
us on Instagram.
Dude, and we'll hook you up and we'll shoot the shit.
Follow us on Instagram too.
Yep. Follow us on all our pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of us, Cam Strick, Andy, myself, all that shit, guys, man.
Today was kind of a weird show.
Yeah.
A lot of sadness around the hockey world today.
Yep.
And listen, we try to bring entertainment. We want you to get away from that. Sometimes, you're focused on so much negativity no matter what you watch. I tried to tell Cam the other day, stop watching the damn news so much.
Right, no, because I don't want to be ignorant.
Okay, he watches too much of the news. It gets in his head.
No. Now I do, because there's big shit going on. For the past year or two, I was like, it's just all the same bullshit. I'm like, I get it. And I was always news. I always read up on news, but there's a lot of shit going on, Andy, and I don't want to be ignorant.
Yeah.
And so I need to know. So if I talk about it, I know both sides of the fucking story.
And you got to know both sides.
Yeah, and you don't, and that's why you chirp me, and I'm like, well, have a conversation.
Well,
with me.
here's the deal though. Like you need to have an escape from it. Like everyone has their escape.
No doubt.
What's yours? What do you do to escape?
Oh God, fucking. Well, geez, I don't know. Golf, play with my dogs. Fucking, I don't know.
The dogs are sleeping in your bedroom now. I see that they moved up to the bedroom.
They've always in the bedroom, dude.
Do they wake you up at night or no?
Nah, they're okay now. But they still need to be in their crate, dude, because they're just not there yet.
Well, Blaze been waking me up, dude. Like the last couple nights, like 3-4 times a night. I can't deal with it.
Why?
I don't know. I'm about to call.
He's probably got a fucking urine tract.
I was going to call Praveen the next
potty,
neighbor
dude.
and see if he'd watch him for me.
So that's what you do instead of taking him to the fucking vet. You're going to give him to
your
neighbor.
For you just watch him for a night.
He has
or
a
two.
urinary tract infection.
It's not urinary tract.
Then why is he getting?
His
there's something wrong with
upset.
him. Well, then there's probably something wrong with his stomach.
So what is it?
What the fuck do I look like? Take him to the fucking vet, cheap ass. I know it's expensive.
Well, usually they get over it. It's like the next day or two. Yeah. Well, he's running around. His energy's fine. Yeah. Energy's normal and everything.
But if he's waking you up in the middle of the night, there's something going on with his tongue.
3 or 4 times a night.
It's not good, man.
No.
They're not fucking bullshitting you, dude. There's something going on. They want to sleep.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
Okay, well, we'll look into that. If there's a vet out there that wants to, let us know, well, we should get some animal advice.
Canada? Vet in Canada?
A Canadian vet.
Take him down the street.
Have things opened up in Canada?
I don't know.
Have you seen that on the news? Have you checked that out when you're watching the news?
Yeah, it's all over the place up there.
So anyway, what I was getting at was this: we want this to at least be a little bit of an escape, like if people are down or whatever.
No doubt,
and
it is.
And we're thinking about those that are truly affected and hurting today, man. We're thinking about all of you.
We love all you guys, man. We do.
Enjoy this interview as always with Jeff Gorton, man. And he's going to be working in television. He's working for the NHL Network this year. And
he's a cool cat, man.
Yeah,
real cool cat.
Real cool.
He'll get a job soon.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, as always, the Cam Strick Podcast is brought to you by CarShield, baby.
Yeah.
800-857-2481, carshield.com. Hey, structure the plan the way that you want it. You want a long-term plan, do it. You want a short-term, you can do that too. Here's how it works. Something goes down in your car. It's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars, but it won't if you're secured with CarShield. And you pay your low monthly payment, and all of a sudden, like, something goes down that's really expensive, Cam. Like, you don't have to pay for it because it's already, like, paid for.
Yeah, like your starter. I mean, there's a million different things that go down, and you could take it wherever you want to go. It's so easy. It just simplifies your life, and that's what you need when you're fucking stressed out. Like, simplify your shit. So when your tire goes out, whatever. Oh, it happens all the fucking time, man. So just remember that. You're safe with CarShield. They'll take care of you, and you can pick out wherever you want to take your car.
I don't think you don't seem very stressed nowadays in your life right now. Are you? Where's your stress level?
Well, the dogs stress me out here and there. Like, I'm thinking about them right now because I know they need to get out of their cage. I'm going to take them for a little walk. Hopefully, it's not going to be raining. But
do they freak out when the thunder comes or no?
Nah, they're pretty good about that. They just miss their daddy. They just want their daddy around.
Everybody they like human beings or something.
They just miss me so much. All my animals do.
Your cats too?
Oh, my little baby kitty. She's the best.
So anyway, check out CarShield. Mention the promo code Cam. I know it's embarrassing. I know it. You should hit me up. It's
pretty easy. Just put Cam in there.
Hit me up on Cameo. We can talk about that too. It'll save you 10% when you mention Cam.
Yep.
800-857-2481. Mention that promo code CarShield, baby. How about Bellman.com?
Damn right.
When you go out to Bellman, Cam, the experience you get is what?
Oh, it's just quite lovely. It's it's organized. They're not creepy like some of these places you go into. Your wife could go buy a car, and there's no pressure involved. Everything's clean and cool. They got awesome inventory. They take care of you. They understand it. They want you to come back. Just comfortable. It's a comfortable buying a car experience, and that's somewhat tough to find these days. Yeah. So again, your wife can go do it. Yeah, the price is there. By herself at Bowman. Nah, I can't say that for a lot of other places. Fucking swinging dicks.
You can't say that anywhere else.
Come on in, you blondie. Come on in here.
Hey, didn't I see you on Facebook?
I used to kick your fucking husband's ass back in the day.
Didn't Cam just change his profile picture of your ass?
You could beat his ass back in the day.
Does she know you put that picture up?
Yeah.
She's okay with that.
The picture of her?
Well, it's a great picture. I'm just asking.
When we tell her, are you bothered by it?
It's a great picture.
It's my profile pic of my wife.
But people are asking, like, Cam, it's beautiful. Where are you?
Exuma.
No, I know, but they think you're there now.
I ain't there.
They're like, oh, I had no idea you're on vacation.
No, I'm not.
And that's why I thought I just
put a picture of my wife in a bikini looking over a yacht that we rented.
Social media, like, you got to let them know what you're doing now. Like, what's going on
now. It's a profile pic. It means I'm going to keep it up there, and this has my pic, so when people click on my shit, they just see the pic of my wife.
Oh.
Andy, quit overthinking it. Why don't you find some cool pics and put them up?
Well, should I go through, can I post pics from like 4 or 5 years ago?
If it's a profile pic, you can.
Only if it's a profile
Well, you can do it I'm not going to put it up there and say I'm there when I'm not. It's just a profile pic.
Okay. So
overthinking it.
Whose boat was that?
That was a yacht.
Was that a Chris Craft?
That was a 200-foot yacht right there, baby. Really? I didn't pay for it. That was a $700,000 a week yacht.
Mm-hmm. You get nervous on yachts?
No, I don't.
Like, what about you ever been on like a cruise?
Yeah. No, fuck. What do I look like? A cruise?
I don't know.
I don't do that shit.
Cruises.
With a bunch of old people in a fucking Coronaville? You're fucking crazy.
Would you do an all-inclusive resort right now?
Goddamn right.
Yeah. Like you won't.
Not in Mexico. I wouldn't go across the border.
You wouldn't? Nah. Well, they don't really have them in the States, do they? I mean, would you go to Jamaica?
Nah, not right now. I'd stay in Florida probably. There's some badass places you can go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't cross the border.
Okay.
I don't know. I just wouldn't. I don't want to get stuck somewhere.
Because of,
well, just somebody you might
never
know. Yeah, you never know, man. It's not worth it.
And then you're stuck there.
Stuck there in fucking Mexico or something.
It'd be a worse place to be stuck
there. Yeah, not when you need to get home to your house. I don't want to be stuck in a resort. You get sick of that quick, trust me.
No, you don't want that.
Pissing out of your ass, drinking that Presidente fucking beer. Fuck that.
No, you don't want that. All right, Bellman.com. Again, BEHLMANN.com. There's 2 N's. And they got that Cadillac, the Buick, the GMC on one side of the street. On the other side, they got that Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. I'm still looking at that Escalade. I would do a Jeep, though, too, man. Jeeps, you can drive probably 10 months out of the year nowadays.
Jeep what?
Like a Wrangler.
The Cherokees are cool, man. They're fucking badass. SRTs,
You want that Enclave with captain seats?
I'll take that. I'll take that fucking thing.
Ivory
Absolutely.
white.
Yeah, I want something nice. I'm fucking feeling.
I was behind one today in carpool this morning. I was
cool.
behind it.
That's cool. Really cool.
So Bellman.com, BEHLMANN.com. All right, DaredevilHockey.com. I was trying to think about it today, Cam. Like, I don't know what else to tell the parents. Like what are you doing? Like, either protect your kids or what?
Just look into it. Look into it. Like, you want to spend a little bit extra money, not that much, to like protect your kid, or you're going to be fucking cheap.
Well, you get the promo code Cam and Strick. First off, that's going to save you that extra money anyway.
Like, you got to buy undergear anyway. Might as well just buy this so they're protected.
So Jamal Mayer sends me the picture yesterday.
Oh,
told you, and like his kid's wearing Daredevil.
You should.
He's like,
why wouldn't you?
Protects his kid.
Yeah, no shit. So if you're a family and you're like, well, okay, my son's playing hockey, we're doing all this stuff, but you know what? I know he's got all the protection, but I don't need to go above and beyond on his protection. Yeah, you do. You don't need to go above and beyond and give him the best skate in the fucking league or the best stick in the pro shop. But as far as protection, you need to give him the best protection he could possibly get. Mm-hmm. That's on you, parents. You know, again, the sticks and stuff, if they're good, they're going to be good with a cheaper pair of skates. It's fine. But if you fucking cheap,
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm just comparing it to like if you're going to be cheap, give them the $700 pair of skates, not the $1,000 pair of skates.
I don't know.
That doesn't. If you're good, you're good, Andy. If you're good, you need booster rockets on yours. If you're good, you're good. But if you're cheaping out on shit that's going to protect them from getting hurt, then that's on you.
Well, skate lacerations, the number one cause of emergency room visits in the world, especially when it comes to youth hockey. But I'll disagree with you. I would say this to parents. I tell them this all the time. You can go cheap on everything except helmet, because you need to make sure your head's protected, and skates. Everything else, you don't need top of the line. I think skates, if you're in some shitty-ass skates, man, your kid's not going to be able to
Don't give them shitty skates. And helmet, what are you going to get? An old Jofa? They don't make those anymore. So all the helmets are the same. The skates are pretty much the same. But as far as like your undergear, if there's an extra piece of equipment that'll make your fucking kids safer.
Yeah, for that, it's a no-brainer.
That's all I'm saying, dude. That's all I'm saying.
No-brainer.
Just don't be. Look, if your kid's playing hockey, you can't be cheap.
Mention the promo code Cam and Strick, all caps. You'll save a boatload of money. I want to see those pictures, too. People send it to our Instagram. Again, message us with a review. Take that screenshot. If we pick you, we're going to hang out and have a and
we'll send you a package.
Virtual party.
Yep.
And Cam will be getting his mind right in that virtual party.
Yeah, dude. Okay. I'm not going to get it wrong.
All right. Jeff Gorton, man. A lot of things this guy got right, too.
Yeah, he did.
New York, Boston, and listen, he'll get another job before too long as well. Especially when you have relationships around the league, like JD and these guys. Obviously, I mean, he'll be good.
He'll be fine.
So
now he came on our podcast. He'll be hired. No,
that's right. You think he'll get a job now?
Yeah, I do.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, it is.
All right, enjoy this interview.
You're getting yourself out there. That's how it goes.
148 on the Cam Strick Podcast.
Hello.
Is this the race car driver?
Yeah. I wish.
Jeff Gorton?
I want his money. I know that.
Yeah, don't we all?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Big Walt told me he set you up with golf the other day. Now, did he take care of you or what?
He did offer, although I stepped forward and threw a few dollars down. I know Walt doesn't have that much money anymore.
I know, man. Got to take
he
after
says
those
it's really
kids.
hard, the negotiations with his kids.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, throw a coin at him next time you see him because he must be struggling. Now, Walt picked up everything, man. He picked up everything when you played. He was one of the best of the
He's
best.
the best. Oh. He is a really good man.
Hey, so people don't realize that. And listen, sometimes, like, I even forget, like, until I do my world-class research, Jeff, we got to get prepared for this interview. Like, how long you spent in the Bruins organization. Like, you grew up in Melrose, which is the same town as Kachuk, real quick. Like, did you guys know each other? You didn't know each other growing up, did you?
No, he's a little bit younger than me, and it's a little bit deceiving because we're born in the same hospital in the same town. But he grew up a couple towns over. He grew up in the mean streets. I was a little more of a silver spoon guy, I guess, compared to him. Yeah.
Those are Cam's favorite.
What'd your mom and dad do?
When he was in 8th grade, the truth is he did score a goal on me, and I was about 5 years old, and it was pretty depressing.
Were you a goalie?
I was, yeah. I was like a Jerry Cheevers style, come up the net 30 feet and challenge everybody kind of.
Good luck with that nowadays.
Yeah. No, I can't even go side to side. It would be tough.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So how'd you grow up, man? Your mom and dad, what'd they do, and how'd you get into hockey?
Yeah, so my dad was a plumber, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So we just 3 boys. I was a middle child, and somehow, some way, my dad brought us all to the rink, and we kind of fell in love. And the Bruins was huge, right? And coming off Bobby Orr and Esposito and all those big names, and so it was a huge thing. And they had built a ton of rinks where we're from, and all the kids in my town. Melrose was a huge hockey town at the time, and Andy Brickley had been to the NHL or pretty close, and so it was a big sport in our town, and that's how I got involved and kind of fell in love with it. So
listen, it's amazing. Like, you talk about your dad being a plumber, and like Tony Amani came out. I think his dad was a plumber
I thought
too.
You were going to say a lawyer.
And like
plumber.
I hear even Keith Yand, all these Boston guys. I think all their dads are like plumbers or whatever. But like, and my kids playing now, grew up playing. Obviously, Cam played. Like, it's so expensive. Like, do you ever just sit back and wonder like how your dad did it, Jeff? Because it's pretty amazing that he was able to afford and just I know it was more affordable back then, but it's still crazy,
No question. I mean, to have 3 kids that do it, and I mean, I have my oldest boy plays. He's 19, and just the skates, the sticks, the ice time, what goes along with it, right? The conditioning, everything he does costs money, and it's crazy what it's turned into. Back then, somehow, some way, it was a lot cheaper, and I think each town, they were feeding money into it to make kids play hockey, but now it has become, unfortunately, a little bit more of a rich type sport.
Yeah, it's weird because as long as if you get into it and your parents can get you involved and find your game and you're a good player, at the beginning stages, your parents are going to have to pay for everything. But if you're a good hockey player and your parents can't afford to make that you play on a AAA team, somebody's going to take care of you if you're a good player. It's just becoming good.
That's the way life works, though, right?
Yeah. Funny how that works.
Yeah, that's the way life works. It's like if you're a good player, a college will find you. If not, they'll leave you behind, right?
Yeah.
Or a junior team or whatever. So that's kind of what I preach to kids if I ever speak to them. I said, listen, if you're good, they'll find you, and there'll be a place for you. If it fizzles out, at least you have the love of hockey to fall back on.
All right, so how'd you get hooked up with the Bruins? Like growing up there, like did you really start in the PR department? Is that true?
I did, yeah. I actually started as an intern in the PR department. So I went to when I went to grad school. Part of the grad school curriculum is I had an intern somewhere, and I went and I called the Bruins, and I kept calling them, and eventually they said, yeah, come on, and so I joined them in September in 92. Believe it or not, and I was doing stuff in PR, and about 6 months later, they had some holes and some things they wanted to do in hockey, and had some ideas, and I knew that I really that was my passion, and so I started doing some video work for them, and even arbitration, like legwork on stats, and they would take me out. The scouts would take me out. I would videotape games for them, and then we'd go back and break it down, and start a video library, all those kind of things. And then eventually they hired me for $17,000, and I was loaded, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's how I basically get in there, and I was there for 15 years, kept fooling them for a while, and it seems to be right up at the cutoff, because I was with the Rangers just about 15 too. So
that's a long career though.
17,000.
That's pretty good.
That's like Cam's radio salary right now, by the way.
No doubt about it.
17,000. He was making that in Windsor.
I do it in my basement.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day.
Hey, so how old were you when you first started that though, the intern job? And were you ever
22?
Okay, so you're 22, and I mean, were you like, okay, I want everybody to see me? Like, you had to do something different than everybody else. I mean, were you just doing extra stuff for them? And like, when did that next step come about when you were young?
Well, back then, like I do remember we talked about my dad being a plumber, but he told me, if you want to stay there, if it's something you like, get there first, leave last. And that's what I did. And I would go there. I'd take the train to the Garden. I'd get there like 7:30 and wait for them to all come in, and they'd be looking at me saying, what's this kid doing? And then they'd all leave, and I'd wait, and I'd take the train home. And I did that for a while, and they kind of figured out that, all right, this guy's, he's going to be here so I did that for a while, and I kind of showed them, and, I was begging for things to do. And back then we had like 8 to 11 people did everything, right? Tickets, marketing, branding, PR. hockey, everything. When I was at MSG, it was like 450 people. The 14th floor where my office was like spring break. You walk through there, there's thousands of kids in there.
Really?
There's so many people working there. So the game has changed so much. But back then when I started, I was lucky. They needed help. If anything they needed, I was doing. Like Harry Sinden needed a ride from the airport. I did it. I got it. This guy needed his tire changed. I got it. Yeah. Call me. And, that's, I wasn't an NHL player. I wasn't a great player. I wasn't a college player. I wasn't a good junior player. I was just a guy that loved hockey, that thought he knew hockey, and that was going to be my way in. I didn't have the track record of some of these other people that were fortunate enough,
I love it, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, get there early, baby.
These are the best stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've talked to Army about that too. Doug Armstrong, like he didn't play in the NHL. And you gotta earn it, man. You have to earn your reputation, your respect, all of that when you don't carry that type of background, that type of resume, man. So, especially in a professional sports world, how confident were you right off the bat, or did you just kind of keep your mouth shut? How'd you go about your business?
Anybody that knows me, I'm not great at keeping my mouth shut. I mean, that's kind of anybody that Cam, I'm sure you play with people from Boston. We can't do it.
No,
I'm not good at that. We're just our nature is to keep speaking, even though maybe we don't always know what we're talking about. We kind of pretend that we do. But listen, I would go to meetings, and the Bruins, though they were set up, they had a bunch of older scouts, and I could just kind of see if I hang in there long enough, I think I could find my way. And that's basically what I did. I'm like, you know what, I could do this. These guys aren't that much smarter than me. I go to the same games. I'm looking at the same things. I'm going to try to outlast these guys and show them what I got.
Yeah, because that's the insecurity, man. We hear it. I hear it all the time. Players like to use that against you, right? You didn't play in the league, blah, blah, blah. So how do you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And, listen, it is what it is. And they're right. I didn't play in the league, and that's never going to change. But did you truly know the game? Did you know the game? How long did it take you to truly know it? Because there is a difference between knowing it and having played 10, 15 years in the league and having lived it, right? So how did you really develop the true knowledge for the sport?
I think so. I mean, listen, I didn't know everything, and I was lucky. I would drive around with John Bertel. He would take me to games and talk to me about the little things in hockey. Look at this. Look at the way this guy's warming up. He's going at 40%. How is he going to be ready to play? Little things like that you'd start watching with the puck, how guys handle the puck in warm up. Just little things you'd never say, well, how am I going to learn anything in warm up? Just the little details of the game that all these guys thought of all the time. I would pick up almost like an osmosis thing. I knew the game. I loved hockey. I watched everything about it. But until you're around it at the highest level, you don't know, right? And even today, there's still things I learn. I mean, you just, the game changes all the time, and the language they're speaking is so much different than before, And like I said, I worked for Harry. It was all, 2-man forecheck, 1-man forecheck. Now it's F1, F2, F3. It's neutral zone, F1, the game has totally changed. And those older guys that are around the game, they're like, stop it. Stop. This game hasn't changed that much. Don't change the details. Don't change the language, right? Oh. So just little things like that. You're always learning. But no, not until I was around NHL people did I feel totally confident. I would be quiet in front of John Bertel, right? I'm not going to correct the Hall of Fame guy, but you just pick things up along the way from all the people you're around that you're lucky to be around.
So there had been a time when you were young, a little bit younger, still intimidated, but you're like, you know what, I'm going to go against the grain on this. And you said something, and everybody's like, what are you talking about? And did anything like that ended up being true, or you were right about something big where you kind of got a little bit more, big break for you? You got a little bit more, mojo?
I think back to the Joe Thornton. We took Joe Thornton first overall, and then we had a second pick, which was Samsonov. And there was a huge debate about players. I think it was Cleary was one, Danny Tkachuk was one, and we ended up with Samsonov. And there was a lot of debate. And we had, like I said, older scouts that not necessarily wanted a Russian. And I had watched everything on this guy because he was playing for the Detroit Vipers, so we had all access to the video. And we were lucky enough to go see him. He had gone to Boston in some tournament. He scored 14 goals in a game when he was 13. So we did so much homework, and and I think it's like the first time I can remember like standing up saying, this is ridiculous that we're not talking about this guy more. And eventually we took him, whatever. So I think that might have been the first time I got a notch maybe on my belt. And then felt a little more confident. And in the end of the day, as always in hockey, Hossa was taken after that. So what did I know, right? You got the wrong guy, right? So there's always, every time there's good, there's something behind it saying, oh yeah, you're not that smart.
The Cam Strick Podcast is brought to you by CarShield. You know, nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and you know right off the bat you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview. Because, like, listen, your track record in Boston in a short period of time in terms of being an interim GM, man, is pretty impressive. I want to talk about that. But first, like, as a GM, like, how much of the job is just managing people and truly being able to surround yourself with smart, intelligent people versus, like, having to be, like, the smartest guy in the room as well when it comes to hockey? Like, how much of it is hockey versus the communication, managing people aspect?
I think the first part is it's way more having really good people that work for you, that are in the right positions, that know what they're doing, because you can't be everywhere. I always laugh. Like, you hear, Gorton took this guy, he's responsible for this guy. Well, a lot of times as general manager, I don't get the luxury of seeing the guy, right? You may say I took him, but I didn't. These other guys that stepped forward and they were out there watching him. And I think in over time as a manager, I learned, hey, listen, if I'm going to go see a guy once or twice, I'm not going to overrule a guy that has seen this guy 20 times and loves the player, So I try to let the people that good at their jobs do their jobs. But on the other part is I find the hardest part is the non-hockey. So there's always a thing. The guys that work for me always say, there's a saying I always have. After a while, I say, can I just talk about hockey, right? Because there does become some nonsensical things that day to day that you're like, this is enough. Can we talk about cutting players, trading players, signing players, and not so much about the, marketing or HR or lawyers all this other stuff that goes along with it. So there's so much of that now that sometimes you just hang up the phone. I walk down the hall. I'm like, anyone for hockey? Hockey?
Drains you.
Yes, it does.
Anyone
it does.
For hockey.
It is the worst part of it.
Now let's talk about marketing real quick.
Yeah, exactly. We got some marketing questions from you. Let me ask you this. You take over interim GM in Boston, and I mean, your draft record. I mean, geez, like, you got Brad Marchand, 3rd round, right? You drafted Kessel. You drafted Milan Lucic. You make the trade for Rask, who comes in and, like, wins the Vezina Trophy eventually down the road, takes his team to the final a couple times. Like, why didn't you get the job as GM? Like, was that shocking to you? Did you really want it? Did you interview for it? Like, what?
Yes.
Walk us through that process.
Well, I definitely wanted it, and I interviewed for it, and I always thought I was getting it. But before I did all that, they already hired Peter Chiarelli. So they hired him, but if you remember, they wouldn't let him come until after everything was over.
With Ottawa, right? Was he working with Ottawa?
He had to stay in Ottawa, and they wouldn't let him go. So I actually, we did all that stuff without him. So we signed those guys, and we drafted all those guys. So, I felt good about setting them up pretty good, and then, he never kept me.
Wow.
So that's just the way it is. Like, some guys, they come in and they want their own guys, and that kind of happened there. But no question, I mean, I look back, and we had a really good summer that set that up pretty well. And before that, we had drafted Krejci and Bergeron. So we were rolling in the right direction. And then, sometimes you get lucky. Like, Fergie had called me and asked me for Raycroft. And, we got lucky that basically it was 50-50 Pogge or Rask. We got the right guy, right? Right. So we did that. And then obviously the draft was really good. I mean, we start off with Phil, which you could argue, but at 5th overall, he was the best player there. And then to come back with Lucic and have him turn into what he turned into, we'd be lying to say we knew that. But we knew he was big and strong and what the Bruins represented, right? So Cam can appreciate that. And then, to follow it up with Marchand, he gets better every year. Like he's something special, and we thought he'd be a good player, like a 20-goal guy that agitated people, and he's turned into a superstar player. So you got to get lucky. And then that free agency there, we got Chara and Savard. So it was rolling in the right direction, and obviously a few years later they got the cup. So I feel pretty good about that.
Okay, so somebody told me this though. Like, are you the one that hired Peter Chiarelli? Like, did you hire him?
No,
were you involved in that process?
No.
Or no?
No.
Okay.
No. Honestly, they I was part of the old regime, right? And Mike O'Connell was the GM and got fired, and I was with him for 6 years or 7 years or whatever it was and more. And I went through the interview process, but as much as I thought I would get it, I look back and I'm like, they weren't going to give it to me, right? They wanted to go outside of the old regime. And no, I didn't know Peter. I never met him. The first time I ever really met him was basically sitting down to kind of go through our lineup with him months later. So that's not true. The final 2 guys for that job were Peter Chiarelli and Ray Shero.
Gotcha. Well, you set him up pretty good because, like you said, you did sign Chara, like a massive free agent deal, and you signed Mark Savard, who we've had on the podcast too, man. So so a couple good signs. You did set him up pretty good.
You set him up really good. Let me ask you real quick. When you back to that draft though, and you're evaluating some of these guys, and you brought up Milan Lucic, and you just said, well, maybe it worked out, but you watch him in juniors, and he's dominant, and he's huge, and he's knocking guys out with hits and fights. He's putting the puck in the net. Like, didn't you think no, this guy's going to be just fine up here? What were you worried about with him?
Yeah, I don't think we were lucky. Our head scout was Scott Bradley. He lived in Vancouver, right in the area there, and had watched almost all of his games. And, the knock on him was he's hunched, right? He's got the hunchback naturally, and his skating was track skating, right? He was kind of a little bit of a funny skater. And if you look back at some of the reports some of the guys saw him, people question maybe his sense in his hands. Well, it turned out when he turned pro, he had great hockey sense for a big man. Oh, yeah. He always found people. He was sneaky that way, and he could snap a puck. There wasn't much he couldn't do, and he was a street brawler too, right? That didn't hurt. He's from the inner cities, and grew up with his brother, and they fought in the city, learned how to fight, and he was one scary guy. I'll tell you, for a while he was. He was one hard guy to deal with.
He
was a perfect Boston Bruin.
Just like Andy. No, it's funny how you bring the hunchback up. And I'd be like, no, that's actually beneficial.
You talked about that with us.
Because that dude, his reach is 4 inches longer. It's like he's 6'7" with the hunchback. And he even talked about, we had him on the pod too. So he's just able to catch guys with punches so much easier. And I don't know, it's just the way he was built. But yeah, you're right. I guess his feet were a little slow and things. But man, if you look at his highlights in junior, I'll take a gamble on him.
Great. Yeah, his work ethic was great, and he had gone to that Memorial Cup and started really coming. And I think sometimes the Memorial Cup people start putting their list away, right? And they've already done their work, and this guy was really turning into quite a player there. Did you ever try him, Cam? You're a kind of willing guy.
I tried. I used to fight Sean Thornton. So I had to go with Torts. Yeah. I asked Lucic. Yeah, he probably would have caught me a couple times with that hunchback. I know he would have. We talked about it, but he was too good for me. So I had to go Sean, who's also better than me too. Who am I kidding?
Yeah. I always liked the guys that would trash talk him. I says, why bother doing that?
No,
right?
don't wake him up.
Death sentence. Yes.
Well, he'll hit you. He'll hurt you with a hit and a punch. You can't hide from those hits that he was giving you, man. You can always say no to a fight, but he's going to catch you on the net.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he turned into a good one.
All right, speaking of trash talk, all right, Brad Marchand, what was your notes? If you were going back to his draft file, would say what? Did you was that part of the equation? His personality that he kind of brought with him to the league, or was it all about this guy potentially being a great player? Although you got him in the 3rd round, what made him drop so far?
Yeah, I think size at the time might have been a problem, right, for some people. And, he spent so much time in junior chasing people around and in the box and yapping that maybe you go in there and you get a couple looks at watching him. You're like, this kid's annoying. I don't know if he's ever going to figure it out. He was a little bit of a wild guy. And, I remember the first time seeing him in Providence once he turned pro, and I was like, oh, wow, this is better than we thought. There's no way. Like his hands, his vision, the way he used his body was way more than we thought. Like third round, we guys liked him, and again, another Memorial Cup guy that had done well. His team in Moncton, and I remember Teddy Nolan was the coach for the Islanders, and I just happened to walk over to Neil Smith and say, hey, listen, we really like a guy in the third round. I have all these fourth and fifth picks. I trade you 2 picks for a third right now. And he's like, sure, we're just trying to get as many picks. And we drafted him. I remember Ted Nolan walked right over to our table and goes, I can't believe you guys just did that to us.
He knew.
Yeah. He played for him, and he knew he was going to be good. And at the time, the Islanders were going on some kind of analytic model where they were drafting. And, you got to get lucky. And there it is.
And it's funny, you always bring up size. Yeah, his size.
Yeah.
How many guys have we had on? Dougie Gilmore, Andy, all kinds of cats that, just kind of got lost in the draft because of their size. I mean, is that really a thing now? I mean, like if the guy's if he's working, he's battling, like the size is going to come, and even if they don't get height, they're still going to put on muscle because they're going to be training with a pro hockey team.
I mean, I think it's less now. I mean, you look at it, Cole Caulfield, he did pretty well in the first round, but then going through the draft this year, there wasn't a lot of smaller kids like in the top like 15. So there's something to it, I mean, I have a son, and he's skated against these kids that were smaller their whole lives, and sometimes they do fizzle out, right? Kids get bigger and they just can't handle the size and the speed combo anymore. So it happens. You have to be special. If you're playing under 6 feet, I always say you have to be special at something, whether it's your hockey sense or your skating or your toughness, your grit. You have to be really special to do it, because it's hard. These guys are huge.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
And strong now.
There's no doubt. We're going to have Clayton Keller coming in here in the next couple of days, actually. So he's a real guy, who's...
Yeah. We're going to feed him, too, by the way, when he comes in here.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's quite a player. Like, listen, I always tell my scouts, I say, or anybody that'll listen, on the 10th floor, way up top, anybody feels like they can play in the league, right? We're all watching. It looks so slow. We're from the press level, and you can appreciate this. We're all seeing it happen, plays develop. We're looking at players like, how did they miss it? And then as you slowly creep down, you take the elevator down, and you end up on the 3rd floor. You're like, wow, it's fast. Or if you want to go down a couple more and sit by the glass, you say to yourself, oh, I'm glad I'm not out there, because these guys are fast, and it's a unbelievably fast physical game, and the guys that can make plays in that environment are incredible athletes.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so you leave Boston. You get let go by Boston. That couldn't have been easy when you consider how long you were there. But then now you go to the Rangers, and they hired you as a pro scout. Like, was there the understanding you were going to be able to move up the food chain pretty quickly, or what was your expectations when you went there?
Well, when I got let go, I actually worked with Peter for a year, and we basically decided that it's not going to work. That I saw myself as more, and he wanted other people, so we agreed to go the other way. And I don't know, at the time I thought I would bounce right back and didn't think I'd have to go backwards. But I waited a couple months and into September, and I didn't have anything. So I'm like, all right, I'll just go be a pro scout and see if I can get back in. But I had no assurances or anything. I just kind of leaped back in and went to work with the Rangers. And Gordy Clark, I had worked in Boston with, and hired me with the Rangers, and we went like that, for a little bit. And then after a year, I think they realized, all right, this guy's all right. And got promoted, and it kind of kept going up the ladder until they offered me an assistant GM. I moved my family down to New York and kind of fell into place from there.
Okay, so New York, is it really, how different is it? It's under the bright lights, it's MSG, the whole 9 yards. Explain that. Is that a different team altogether when you consider the New York aspect versus everywhere else in the league?
Yeah, I think it is. It's everything that goes into it. The fact that you have players that live in Westchester, and then you have another set of players that live downtown. Like it's in Boston, they all kind of lived somewhere similar, all knew each other, hanging around. So there's all these different things that have to go into New York to make it work. Some people want to live in the city, some people want to live in the suburbs. They have families, so you have those are hard little things to manage. But it kind of underlines, wow, this is Manhattan. This place is huge. Some people can't. They don't want to deal with the city. Some people do, so they only want to go for game days, that kind of thing. But the actual organization, the amount of people, like I mentioned earlier, everything that goes into New York, there's a huge pride there to make that organization, the number one coveted NHL team in the league, and they do a really good job of that. And you can tell when players come in and play there, it's special. It's a special place. You come out and you walk, you look up at the roof and the fans and everything that goes into it. You basically walk upstairs. You come, Cam, you've done it, and you've done it. You go up that ramp and you're like, where am I going, right? And then all of a sudden you get in the locker room. It's tiny. All the room is given to the stars, to the singers and everything that goes into it, right? They give a little small room to the visitors.
Those pictures on the wall,
yeah.
too.
Yeah, exactly. The coach's room is tiny, but then you get out on the ice and it's special. And, you could tell, they do everything right. I think it's a first-class organization that's run right, and the players that play there appreciate it. And I think guys that come in there really appreciate it, from the time they land on a plane to having dinners and go wherever they go, and then to game time. It's a production, and it's it's unique to the league and a pretty special place if anyone can ever get the chance to play there.
Yeah, sometimes, unfortunately, I had a better workout walking up to the locker room than I did on the ice. I only played like 2 minutes that night because that's a lot, like a half a mile.
It is. Especially if you get kicked out early.
Yeah, no, I've done that. Definitely done that before.
Time to talk a little bit about Daredevil hockey, the ultimate in performance plus protection. Daredevil is a lightweight compression-based layer designed with Kevlar cut-resistant fabric overlays that protects all the vulnerable areas of the upper and lower body from skate lacerations. Get yours now. www.daredevilhockey.com. Use that promo code Cam Strick. You'll save 25%. Now back to the interview.
Let's go. But I was going to ask you this too, and you know what? People don't really realize that when you live in New York City, like guys they're spread out all over the damn place, and to live downtown so expensive. So if they want to get even like little things like let's get to we have a team get together tonight. Well, it's not an easy thing to get everybody together. The traffic, going to either the games. I mean, do you realize that guys are late sometimes and they didn't know how to, adjust to traffic, things like that? I mean, that's kind of a pain in the ass as well, living there.
Yeah, it is. It definitely makes the team bonding a little harder. You got to work at it. The parties, these guys they move up, quite a few blocks to make it easier for people and their wives to come down and meet them somewhere. You're doing those things. I remember Mike Rupp. He struggled with it. He lived in a suburb, and half the time he could be late a few times, and he'd leave his car and run to the MSG to try to make it on time. He was one that sticks out. Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the worst feeling in the world, by the way. When you walk in late, you're sweating your ass off, and everybody's like, "Where you been, buddy?" Oh,
yeah,
man.
Especially if Torts is your coach. He won't hold you accountable at
all. You like Torts?
I love them.
Everyone says that, man. Everyone says. Tell us why.
I just think he's so honest. Like, I like that. I like to talk to a guy and just have him tell me exactly how he feels about a player, about the team, about everything. Like, there's no BS with this guy. And he would do anything he would do anything for any of his players, any of the people he works for. He's got a huge heart. No one ever sees it. I just think he's a real good person that sometimes it's a little bit of a stick, an act that try to take attention away from the players, that just trying to draw it to him so the players can just play. It's all part of his evil genius. But I like him. I really enjoyed working with him. And today, even talking to him, the guy cracks me up.
Okay, listen, I remember JD when he first took over the Blues, like a week or two in. I was like, what do you think of the job? He's like, man, every day, like, there's a curveball you just don't expect. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's not just hockey all the time. Yeah. And like, you had to deal with that in New York. Like, the Panarin situation over in Russia where, like, you know, a former or a KHL coach makes an accusation about something that happened years ago. I think the player actually played for Boston when you were there, just doing some research on, or the coach did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So, like, all this, like, what were you like, oh, my God, what is going on? I mean, how fast was the league able to react to kind of shut this down? And, like, how did you handle that with the player?
Well, I think we gave you know, the bread man his space that he needed and time to figure things out. The biggest thing is when those things are happening back home, he has family there, right? And you know, we don't know what's going on in the world. We never, you know, I've been to Russia, but I don't know exactly the lay of the land and how mad people get and what people will do. So we just gave him his space to work through it with his family. And, you know, we have security staff and people in place that have a lot of connections, just making calls to make sure that everyone's fine and that he felt comfortable, that his family was fine, even though, you know, like you said, it was a long time ago comments. And so it was just really just making him and his family, you know, he's you know, he's got a wife here and both their families are back in Russia. So it was just more letting him kind of get through it, you know, mentally, as far as feeling confident that, you know, nothing's going to happen to anybody. I'm okay. And my family's going to be okay. So it was just more of just giving him some time to work through it, but just support, really.
Still pretty scary though. Yeah. I mean, that you don't know if he's going to be coming back. Like, you know, were you guys a little bit worried about that? I mean,
yeah, I mean, you know, when you see what happens, you wonder, what is this going to mean? And, you know, can he ever go back? And what does it mean? And, but yeah, I think that the organization he was probably less, worried than most people think. He was just worried for his family. Like, he's got grandparents back there that he's looking after and you know, they were having some issues with health and all that. And I think he's just worried about them, that they were being treated the right way and had this, you know, the ability to see the right doctors and that, and they weren't getting shut off. And so it was just more of putting him at peace. And, you know, he can't, you know, like any NHL player, if their mind is somewhere else, they're better off not to play until they're ready to come back.
Yeah.
No doubt.
It was Andrei Nazarov. He was the KHL coach. Who used to play with Boston. So like in that situation, you don't reach out to him or anything like that. You guys don't talk. Like, you don't call him and be like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you saying this? Like, you crazy? Like, does that happen or no?
No, I think on this one, you know, everyone kind of knows Naz is a little off, like, can be off.
Okay.
So, you know, rather than give him any, I didn't want to underline and give him any more attention than needed. So we just let that one go and just worked with the bread man and make sure he's fine.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah. All right. As a GM, how do you handle like all these players nowadays? You know, they've got their social media.
Oh, yeah.
They want to have podcasts and stuff like that because, you know, you had that, right? Tony DeAngelo, like, did his thing, whatever, upset some people. Some people are going to agree with it, whatever. Like, what's your take? Like, do you tell your players what you want, or do you really have no control over that?
You have no control, to be honest. These guys have held their phone in their hands for 24 hours a day for years by the time you get them, right? So you have to remember that. But, you know, listen, we all, and I'm sure Cam has seen it, you bring people in to talk to them about it. And, you know, what's the right thing to do, what to stay away from, you know, how is the right way to handle social media. But there's always going to be a couple guys that are, you know, that are a little too far into it, right? So we start when they're young. I mean, in the draft, we're digging out information on these kids right off their phones. It's so easy, right?
Yeah.
You have people that can get anything. And I always use my son as an example. I tell him all the time, like, I go in your phone. I can get somebody in your phone right now, whatever you're doing. So be careful. Oh, no, you can't. And I've shown them, you know, like, these guys, they're naive until it happens to them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I find they're all that way. You know, Tony's a little different, right? He's a political, he loves to talk about Trump. He loves to talk about this and that. And, you know, like I said about Boston guys, he's a Philly guy and he's pretty passionate about the way he thinks the world should work. And, you know, we understood that, but sometimes when he crossed the line, I had to call him and say, Tony, enough. Is it really worth it to have all these fans tweet back at you to have, do you really want to tweet back at them and have a dialogue with that? Is that really going to be something that's going to work for us? We are in the entertainment business and people are paying for tickets here, right? So, you try to have a rational conversation with people and talk to them on that level. That's what we would do.
Don't separate yourself from the fans because of a podcast, though. Like, couldn't you just be like, hey, stop with the Twitter thing? And even Lou Lamoriello didn't want us to be on Twitter. I had to get off my Twitter every time I played for the Devils, man. Like, they wouldn't let anybody do that, and I get why. And it probably saved me putting myself in a jam, being pissed off afterwards. But a podcast, like, what are you doing that for, right? I mean, especially a political one. You're already typecasting yourself from half the fan base, if not even more, in New York.
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for that. Like, after your career's over, Tony, you go you can do whatever you want, right?
Like us. Hi, right? Tony. Look what we're doing. We're doing pretty good.
Yeah. So the thing about Tony is he's a very engaging, funny person. He just, sometimes turning it off is something that he has to learn. His teammates actually really like him. He's funny. He's engaging. He's tough, right? He's a good player. He just has to, every now and then he's got to catch himself before he goes over the line.
I've heard that his teammates like him. Like, I would imagine, I mean, if Carolina was smart, they probably asked you your opinion on Tony. Hopefully they would before they sign him. But are you glad he's getting another opportunity? And if a team did ask you, which I'm sure some teams would have, like, did you give him a positive recommendation? Like, what would you tell teams about him?
Yeah, no, I had more than one team call me and ask me about him. And I basically said what I told you guys. He's a good guy. He's, I think what happens sometimes is, with the Rangers, we're a young team, but we could use a few older veteran leadership type players that could more hold a guy like that accountable and stay in, make them fall in line a little better. And we didn't necessarily have enough of that. But I tell teams that if you have that and you're going to get a guy in his last chance that has a lot of skill, 60 points, that will fight for you. That is a good person. Like, if he's had some hiccups, but he has a good heart. And so I told teams that. And, I do think, listen, you get a last chance here. So Tony, it's up to Tony now, right?
Yeah. You want to play in the NHL or not, man? I mean, it's just that simple. And, isn't it funny, though, that so many teams now, especially going into the playoffs, they get that wily veteran, that Corey Perry or whatever, just to solidify. But if you don't have that veteran presence in that locker room, whether you have all the damn skill or not, like, it just kind of solidifies everybody. You need to have those older guys to put guys in their place here and there. It certainly happened to me back in the day. Like, how do you look at that, having a couple extra veteran presence in that lineup just to deal with that kind of shit?
Well, I think it's, if you just look at, my time with Boston, and then they develop a core of Bergeron, of Chara, of these guys that are like that, and Marchand becomes one of them, and now Charlie McAvoy is becoming one. They've established this way of playing, of how we do things. Mm-hmm. And in New York, by contrast, we're rebuilding, right? So we're trying to put as many kids in the lineup as we can on the fly here to learn who can play, who's going to be here, who has to be flipped for other guys, for other type of players. So in some ways, I hear the chatter, they weren't tough enough, this happened to them, this is why. Well, when you're a good team and you're ready to win, that's when you start filling in your roles, right? You get these guys that you need to help you push you over the top. But when you have 9, 10, 11 kids that have to play, you got to play them. And then you figure it out. And then over time, you become more of a team. So it's not, I kind of get a kick out of it. People say that you lack toughness and we didn't know it. Well, I knew we weren't that tough in New York. I knew we had to get to it. Yeah. But I also knew that we needed ice time for Phil Hedl, right? We needed Lafreniere had to play, right? I knew that Kakko had to play a certain amount of minutes if we wanted to get him to where we wanted to get him, right? So this day and age, you can't put those guys in the minors, right? Because everybody, the agents, families, players, they lose it, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, I know, man. So you're handicapped, and you do it in the NHL on the fly, and then over time, those guys are completely valuable. That's why you see the Rangers go after Barclay Goodrow, right? That's why they're going after Reeves. That's why they're going after guys to try to now fill these roles and become more of a team. You could kind of see why it's setting up the way it is.
Yeah. So did you know, like, when the whole Wilson Panarin situation like goes down, did you know, like, ownership was going to flip out and this was going to turn into what it did turn into?
No, I didn't know it was going to turn into that. I mean, that it surprised me that it turned into what it turned into. I mean, obviously I lost my job. It probably has to be more than that. I don't really know, but it has to be more than that. It can't be one thing that you can't tell me JD, who loves toughness, didn't know we weren't tough, right? Mm-hmm. So I can tell you that all the meetings we had, we talked with David Quinn about everybody, about getting tougher over time here. But we also needed some of these young guys that are playing for us to have to deal with adversity, play through some of this stuff, see how they did with it too. Obviously it didn't go well, and Wilson should have been suspended. He eventually, whatever. But I didn't think that night was going to be what it turned into. That people were going to lose their jobs, and it's going to be forever remembered as what it is, right?
Who wrote the press release? Like, was that written by, like, was that from ownership?
That's PR. Yeah, that's PR with the owner.
So did that rock you a little bit? Like, were you, like, trying to separate yourself from what was said public? I mean, because for people who don't know, they're basically saying George Parros is unfit for the job and shouldn't work with Department of Player Safety. Yeah. Like, when you read that for the first time in JD, were you guys like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. When you might have seen it the first time I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody was just like, "Oh my God!" Some have said there's, like, a deeper story between Wilson and, like, the Rangers. Is there, like, another story that we don't know about?
I mean, other than we play them all the time, and he knew that we didn't have anybody that could deal with him at the time. So he did. Wilson's he can be a bully, right? So he took advantage, and but I don't know if there's any other story beyond that. I mean, Brendan Smith stood up to him. I thought he did pretty well, all things considered. I give him full marks for that.
100%.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and I thought, the team, they handled it. It's probably not the way the league wanted it, but it was handled the way they needed to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Until you have 10 million views on it, and they're like, "Oh, it actually did work out pretty good." No one got injured on that. That was great, man.
No, and if you hear any of the Rangers talk the next day or the next week, I think they were pretty proud that they responded.
Right. Was Panarin, he got hurt on that play?
Yeah. I mean, he just got dropped right on his, I think his neck, his shoulder, everything kind of. And he did have a knee at the time, so he had some things he was dealing with. So, and let's face it, we were done, right? There's a couple games to go, right? And there was no sense to put your star player back in if we were out.
Cam Strick Podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Yeah. Head out to Troy today. And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview. Okay, as a GM, I mean, rebuilding, like, how difficult is that? Because, I mean, how many GMs even survive the rebuild? You know what I mean? Like, how hard is it to, like, what does that even mean to rebuild?
Yeah, I think Doug Armstrong is the one with the saying, right? Why plant the tree if I can't sit in the shade? Right?
He's got a lot of those.
Yeah. So, it's hard. Listen, we made a decision, an organization decision. We sat in a meeting for hours and talked about why we should do this. And we had several runs that we were close. We lost to LA in the finals. We lost 5 games. We were in the conference finals, 3 times, maybe 4. We had good teams, but there was always Pittsburgh and Washington and teams that were better. Mm-hmm. And we made a decision that if we're going to win a Stanley Cup here, it's probably not with this group. And, I think it took some guts to do it, to make that decision and come out in the public. But, at the time we felt strongly that we need to, where this is New York, we need to tell people what we're doing. We need our fans on board with what we're doing. And I think I feel, and most people I talk to feel like we were moving in the right direction. And in a short period of time, right, we traded a lot of people. I made a lot of phone calls to some good players telling them they're gone from New York. So we did that, and we kind of did everything we were saying, and I think we were ready for the next phase there. But I think it's true. A lot of people don't last the amount of years it's going to take to rebuild a team, right?
So Andy and I are from St. Louis, and we got a lot of Blues fans listening to this podcast. What can they expect out of this Buchnevich kid? Big kid, big left winger.
Yeah, Butch, I think he's really coming, right? It's taken him a while to become the player he is, but he's a competitive kid with skill. He's more of a passer than a shooter, but he can score. But he doesn't back down. He's a gritty guy that likes to stir it up. He backs up his teammates, and he's a pretty skilled guy. Like, I think he's a second power play guy. He's a good fit with a really skilled centerman with hockey sense. He was a great fit for Mika Zibanejad, and Kreider was a really good line together. They really complemented each other well. You guys have two, three maybe good centers there that he could play with and be really productive. I think he was on pace for, not a point a game, but right underneath there this year.
Okay, so what was it like having Chris Drury work under you? Because everybody assumes he's going to be a GM somewhere. If it wasn't going to be with the Rangers, he was going to get a job. His name was flirted out there with every opening. So, as a GM, do you sometimes know when a guy is working under you who eventually is going to replace you? Do you look at it like that? Is that uncomfortable? How do you handle that, Jeff?
No, I used to say that
world?
to him. I used to say it to him once in a while. Say, one day I'll be gone and you'll be here. I might have not predicted when. but that's life. I understood that. No, Chris is a bright guy. He works really hard. And yeah, from the moment I hired him, in player development, he worked extremely hard at it. And then a year later, I became GM. So we kind of hit it off, and he's smart. I knew he'd be a GM. He had a ton of teams calling for him, asking for permission to talk to him, and rightly so. He's a hard worker. He's played. He's won. He's dialed in. He's focused on what he wants, and he's going to be good.
I thought you were just going to become a big TV star, Jeff. You're working the draft. Hey, listen, did you stay awake on the set there or what? They were getting into the deep rounds. I didn't know if you were getting tired the rest of us.
Day one was fun.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of material there, and you get the guys sitting there. It's kind of, they had asked me to do that 6 days before the draft. And I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm made for the radio here. And they said, no, it's going to work. GM, you had the first pick last year, the second pick the year before. We'll ask you some questions. So I didn't really know that it was going to evolve into talking about the players, and be like a Mel Kiper kind of assistant there. So, but I did the best. We had fun, and making fun of Weeksy, I can do that. Yeah. That's easy, right? He gives me too much material. And, I just had fun. Day two was long and tedious, right? They come to you on the screen and just, okay, Jeff, you got anything? I'm like, okay.
He's a left shot.
Yeah. And my son keeps texting me there, and he's like, Dad, stop saying at the end of every sentence, oh, he's pretty good. He'll be all right.
Oh my God.
Because you run out of things to say, right?
Yeah. You say he skates, he shoots.
He's a good skater, and he shoots the puck.
It's not the NFL where there's 22 positions here. I got forwards, I got a D, and I got a goalie. There's only so much I can say.
No, exactly.
I don't know who the hell this kid is.
Yeah, I should say, you're asking the wrong guy.
I have no idea.
Hey, did you and JD get along? I mean, I know JD pretty well, obviously, from his days here.
Yeah, JD's a great guy. He's a super nice guy, real first class guy. And right from the get go, everyone told me you're gonna love JD, and I do. He's great. Even today, it's been 3 months since we were he calls me every day. And we talk, and he's a special person, and yeah, I can't see too many people not getting along with him.
No, I agree.
I love them.
Now, what are you going to want to do now? Like, are you just going to chill and wait for like another GM opening to come up? Like, would you want to join another organization?
You want to do a podcast?
You want to do a podcast? You want to do TV?
Yeah. I don't know if I can compete with you guys on a podcast. I'll stay. I'd like to be a general manager again. I'm still, I think, young. You know, I'm 53. I think that I'd like to another chance at it here and see what happens. You know, I'm not rooting for anybody to lose their job or anything, but I think I'll just maybe do a little bit more TV, stay active in hockey, and let people see me and let them know I'm still watching the NHL and see what's happening, and hopefully get another crack at it.
Yeah, well, stay visible. So is that so? You got it? Are you? Is that definite? Like you're working with ESPN or whatever for this season?
I think I'll do some things because Jersey's so close. I think I'll do the NHL Network as much as as much as they let me. Maybe a couple days a week or whatever. I still haven't gone through the schedule, but I think I'll do something with them and stay busy because it's pretty close for me. It's easy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
Hey, does James Dolan call you every day too, or just JD?
I've never talked to him since he fired me.
Well, maybe James, give him a call. I mean, Jesus, come on, JD's calling him every single day. So, well, listen, man, and you will get another chance, man.
Will.
And you did a great job, and with the Rangers too. I didn't even talk about it, but Zibanejad's not there. If it wasn't for you, you had some great signings too. Strome was a guy. Panarin, who you signed. Adam Fox, who is an absolute stud, who wins the Norris. You made that trade too, man. So.
You ever tell Panarin to stop with the leg kicks? He's probably going to decapitate somebody after a goal. I mean, is that ever mentioned in meetings?
Well, I try, but he pretends not to speak English, so it's hard.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. His English is perfect, too.
Hey, you got to know two languages when you're living in New York. Come on now, Jeff.
Well, it's a good way to not do the media, right?
Exactly.
I don't speak English.
Oh my God.
Well, Jeff, man.
Yeah, all the best, man. Yeah. You're gonna. Obviously, it's all gonna work out, and looking forward to seeing you on TV. So, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it.
Boy. I appreciate it, guys. It's been fun.
Right on, Jeff. We'll see you, buddy.
All right, that was Jeff Gorton. I wonder how many people confuse him with the NASCAR driver, Jeff Gorton.
Well, it's not spelled the same.
Well, it sounds like it.
There's a couple of Jeff Gortons we know.
Yeah, there are a couple.
But,
you get into NASCAR?
No, I never did when I was a kid, but I go back on YouTube and watch old school NASCAR shit.
Do you?
Yeah.
On YouTube?
Yeah, old races.
I mean, dude, you spend more time on YouTube.
Well, how do you, no, wait, time out.
Yeah.
So wait, no, I spend more time on looking up shit and looking up different things on YouTube's not all about looking at highlights and goals.
No.
I look up different things on the rise and fall of Afghanistan, for instance, or fucking the rise and fall of Constantinople.
You watch NASCAR races,
but sometimes it'll be like the bio on Dale Earnhardt Sr. And how he died and the restrictor plates and shit like that, and how how he was the Intimidator and how he did all this stuff in NASCAR. NASCAR is very interesting.
What was his nickname?
The Intimidator.
Yeah,
he was so fun to watch, man. Like it's a scary sport, but it's intriguing when you watch some of these old school races, man. Mm-hmm. And I used to go to Hardee's back in the day in the 90s.
Hardee's
and get a
restaurant.
Yeah, I get a value meal and get one of those cool cars with the mellow yellow thing on it.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm like, cool, and I got those. And then
who drove the mellow yellow car?
A couple guys did, but it became
Rick Mears.
It became famous on Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty badass.
Yeah, no, I spend a lot of time, listen, when I go to YouTube, I like to watch things that make me smarter, that I can learn. I love documentaries.
Yeah.
I just don't watch too many races.
That's just like when I'm just scrolling through and I see like a biopic on Dale, like he's cool, or something happened, or a nasty crash, or blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I'm not that into it.
A lot of NASCAR fans in House Springs where you grew up.
Oh, goddamn right, bye. Yeah, there is. But we just never got into it, man.
No,
never
me either.
Nah.
There was a race here this past weekend, like an IndyCar race, and I wanted to take Ty.
Yeah, that's like the minor leagues.
Yeah,
still pretty cool.
Wanted to take Ty.
That'd be cool, man. He'd like that, I think.
Oh, he'd like it, but it's a night race. It's just kind of it's the minor leagues.
Yeah, it's like the Xfinity. It's called.
Really, they have like minors.
Yes, they do, Andy. Just like every other goddamn thing.
Really, like AAA. Like, how would you explain the minors?
It wouldn't be AAA. That's like little buddies playing.
No, AAA like baseball is like the minors.
That's minors.
Yeah, like the American League.
Yeah, American League.
Yeah. And how do you get called up?
You sponsors, and you win races. And
I wonder what the difference is between
happens?
American League driver versus the NHL driver.
Millions of dollars.
No, like skill level.
0.3 .003 seconds. Yeah. That.
I don't like being in cars that are driving that fast.
We already talked about that. No way and fuck. Not doing it. I don't even like being in boats that drive that fast anymore. Unless I'm in control.
I told you what CJ was doing, dude.
How about you get in control of yourself,
dude?
then?
He was driving the boat so fast. I thought we were going to fall
my
out.
buddy just went to... Dude, that's on you. That's on you, you wimp. You're driving a fucking boat that you could... Now, okay, again, that was a
36 foot.
Again, that was at the Lake Tahoe. I understand that. It was a completely different situation. But next time, I told you, drive your own fucking boat. Drive your own boat. Be in control.
I kind of like having a driver, to be honest. I like having a driver.
A 36-foot boat. Talk about claustrophobic.
36 foot.
With a dude you don't know, you can't escape from him. It's not like you walk out the door and close the door and go make out with your wife. Every detail you talk about, everything you do, there's strangers there watching you. That sucks. For me, I'd be like, "Who? Get that? No, nah."
We're thinking.
We're almost there.
We're thinking about doing like a float trip. I think before the summer ends.
Be careful where you go with that. Be careful where you go with that. I'm just telling you. For one, let me tell you right fucking now. You want to get into it? Kids are dying. People are dying on these rivers, homeboy.
Are they
sucked
high
on
right now?
Well, it doesn't matter. Sometimes they're high, sometimes they're not. You're not going to predict that. So my point is you're taking young kids on a fucking river. It's fucking hardcore, man. They get stuck under we talked about this on the podcast before. So and not to mention the fucking Hoosiers. You go down the goddamn
rednecks.
The redneck.
Yeah.
So if you're camping there, which I don't know if you're going to do or not, but why go all the way down sunburn, not sleep over somewhere? So if you're going to do that, just don't go into like a big party zone with a bunch of fucking 16, 17, 18-year-old fucking Hoosier boys keeping you up all goddamn night, creeping out your wife and kids. Find a cool little spot where it's like an older crowd or something where it's like spaced out and make your fire, have some s'mores, listen to music, get your mind right, and do that with no one around, but there's still people around, so you're not in the middle of nowhere. But stay away from the fucking Hoosiers and be careful on that goddamn river. Because you don't know how to fucking swim.
Talking to a guy the other day, he just got back from Montana. Of course, first question that I asked him, I said, "Did you see any bears?" And he said, they stayed at this resort, like a property. It was like what do they call it? A ranch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He said it was a sick ranch, and he said the owner of the property, like they do all the cooking, they clean for everybody who's staying there. I think 25 people could stay there at once. And the lady says, "We've owned this for 7 years. We've never seen a bear."
Really? That's interesting.
So there's it's like an outhouse for them to go to the bathroom and shower. It's like a modern day looking one though. But you have to leave your room and walk outside to go to the bathroom. He said his first night he walks outside and there's a bear staring right at him. I'm like,
I've never seen a bear, but the bears are there.
Oh my God, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to have your head on a swivel. Like, how'd you miss the bear? It's there every day. It sees you.
They no shit, boy.
When I was watching Meat Eater,
that's how
one of my favorite shows, they were like hunting this bear like 1,000 feet away. They're like watching it through the binoculars, and the bear sticks its nose up in the air and starts smelling the people from 1,000 feet away.
God damn, a mile away, dude.
Oh my God. So the bear just takes off running like the other way, not towards the people, but away from the people. And they were like amazed. Can you believe this bear smells us from there?
Dude, go again.
When I saw that bear, dude, it smelled everything in my pocket.
Goddamn right. And it was probably like, you're not worth my fucking time, skin and bones. No, I'm going to find that fat fuck that's sleeping in their tent. So I don't have to look, bears don't want to do, like, don't watch a grizzly go after a fucking elk or something from a mile away. They'll have a drone footage of a bear a mile away chase an elk for another 3 miles through rivers, across the river again, and finally catches up to him miles away. The bear doesn't stop. It doesn't stop swimming. It doesn't stop running. It doesn't stop smelling. You have nowhere to go, and it'll climb that fucking tree too and get you.
You better have some bear spray.
The ultimate fuck predator.
I'd have some bear spray with me.
Oh, that's gonna do it.
And probably a gun. I'd probably get a gun.
You'd have to get a fucking big boy gun.
That's the only time I'm okay.
Bam, 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 bam. Like, but then you're going to jail.
That?
You're going to jail. What's that?
Like, what kind of gun was that?
45. Bam, bam,
really?
bam, bam. It might put it down. It might not.
You need like a rifle, I think, don't you?
Yeah, if you put enough into it, it'll fuck it up in the head, maybe. But man, oh man, their skulls are thicker than
really?
fuck.
So just like a rifle, the bullet would just bounce off.
30-06 will fucking get it, man. But I don't know. Bear spray ain't gonna cut it, Andy.
You don't think so? Nah. I think it works. I was reading story about the hikers in Montana who used the bear spray, and they got away with minor injuries.
Maybe. Maybe it worked, but
a minor injury could be like 45 stitches in the side of the leg.
well, maybe the bear was sick of you and it didn't give a fuck about the thing.
Did you see that video that Sean Avery put out in New York City of that guy at the bank who came? There was a guy at the bank at the counter who's just like, there's like a walk-in, like an indoor ATM type thing, and he's just hitting the button, blah, 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 and this guy with a hatchet walks up right behind him and just hits him in the back of the legs.
Yeah. I thought it was in the head.
No, in the back of the leg. I stopped the video after that. I wasn't going to continue the video. I didn't want to see what happened.
Man, there's psychos everywhere, man. It is what it is. You know, don't be paranoid about shit. Don't be a hypochondriac.
That guy should get life in prison.
Well, yeah, he probably. Yeah.
Don't you think?
Of course. Don't you hatchet somebody in the back of the leg? Yeah, you should do.
Does that mean he chopped his legs off? You think or no?
No, you're not going to get life in prison for that.
Well, he should.
Well, he's not.
I bet you.
People don't get life in prison for raping and killing a little girl. You know. Like, there's fucking guys getting out of prison for fucking killing 3 people 20 years later out of prison. Like, that dude ain't getting life in prison for not killing a dude.
I don't know. We'll have to look up and see what happened.
Oh, man.
Okay, anything stand out from Jeff Norton?
Jeff Gorton?
Jeff Gorton.
Not 10-2 Jeff Norton.
Jeff Norton was good back in the day.
He was 10-2, man, with the skates. Remember, he didn't even take a stride. He 10-2'd it.
You know what number he was?
7?
5.
He got his ass. He got rocked. There's a big clip of him getting rocked by Trevor Linden. Broke the glass.
Skate.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, no, Jeff
Gordon.
Jeff Gordon's, man, he's going to get the job, dude. He's a good guy. Answered every single question.
He answered everything.
Kind of got fucked over a little bit twice, you know. And once you get fucked over twice like that, things bound to go your way, I guess. And he works his ass off. He's a smart guy. Will he get a GM job? I don't know.
What's it like, you think, being a GM when you used to work for another organization and watching players that you specifically brought to that organization, like, help another GM win, like, essentially? You know what I mean? Like, he drafted some of these guys and signed some of these other guys.
Yeah,
then they kick him to the curb a year later.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. I'd be pissed for sure. But
he got another job.
Business, dude. Yeah,
he got another job.
Look, when you
running the New York Rangers.
Everybody knows what you've done. Everybody knows where you're at. Everybody knows the weird fucked up story with the Rangers and why you probably shouldn't deserve.
They know the real story.
They're not stupid.
For sure.
So he's going to get an opportunity no matter what. Mm-hmm. So he's all right.
Yeah, he's all right, man.
He's a cool cat.
He's been through a lot of crazy stuff, though. Real quick, the Panarin thing with, like, the Russian, like...
Yeah, dude. Don't fuck with that shit.
How about the guy who made the claim? You know, remember the coach from the KHL? He was like, oh, Panarin beat up, like, a 18-year-old woman at a bar. Like 10 years ago. And he couldn't, there was like nobody that would corroborate the story. Former teammates were like, don't remember that. Yeah. Another one was like, no, it didn't happen. And even Jeff, even in the interview, said that player was a little bit off. Dude, he knew him from back in the day when that guy played with Boston. He was a tough guy.
Yeah, I thought he was a tough guy.
He had like 200 penalty minutes that year playing for the Bruins.
Yeah, he's a little fucked up.
And I think he had another 200 one year playing for San Jose.
I thought it was because he's against Putin and the regime. And then Nazarov is part of that parliament, you know.
Maybe.
I think that had more to do with anything.
Well, no, exactly. Because Panarin, remember, he was like speaking up on behalf of that, you know, the other guy who was from the Russian opposition, opposite of Putin.
You think we got it bad in the U.S.? So remember what's going on.
Ovechkin's been a supporter publicly of Putin. Most Russian players don't say anything. They don't say anything.
They love Putin.
Yeah, but they don't say anything.
The Russians love him. When you're successful, you like Putin.
I know.
When you're successful, you like him. When you're not, you don't.
That's true. And that's where Panarin's like, dude, it's wrong, dude.
So wrong, dude.
They basically put their money and resources or whatever to help like 1 or 2 cities, and they leave everybody else.
We got our own fucking problems over here, homie. We got our own fucking problems over here. But it ain't. Look, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, dude. So you want to bitch and moan about.
Well, you think the grass is greener?
Canadians bitching about Canada, Americans bitching about U.S. We all got it good, homeboys. Now things are a little fucked up. Don't get me wrong, but we got it motherfucking good. So just remember that.
What are you comparing?
Compared to everywhere else.
That's true.
Everywhere else.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, we appreciate Jeff Gorton for joining us on this edition of the Cam and Strick Podcast. All right, as always, brought to you by CarShield, 800-857-2481, carshield.com. Get that membership today. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're protected. If your computer goes out, engine goes out, you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. You won't have to pay that when you have a subscription with CarShield and carshield.com, so you can structure it any way you want it, long form, short form, however you want it, and then make sure you're protected. And again, you choose where you take it to get work done. You pick your mechanic. It sounds too good to be true, but it really is.
It is nice, man. I've been through it firsthand. They're great people, always on the ball, will help you out in embarrassing situations like mine.
And they love hockey.
Oh my God.
They support hockey everywhere.
Right. Great people.
So anyway, it's like a peace of mind thing. I don't worry. I ran out of gas last week again.
That's
by the way.
Stupid
Cam,
fucking thing.
It happened to me again.
That is a stupid fucking. That is so dumb. And if I was in a car with you and you ran out of fucking gas and we were going somewhere, I'd be like, "Are you fucking dumb?" Oh.
So listen, I forgot.
How do you forget?
I just
look at that's the first thing you look at is how much fucking gas I got.
Forgot if I needed gas or not.
God,
I went like 20 years with this never happening.
It shouldn't ever happen, especially where you live, right in Ladue, where there's 50 gas stations in a mile radius.
So I dropped Chloe off of soccer practice, so I'm headed to the rink, which is like a mile down the road, to go coach, and all of a sudden,
Jesus fucking Christ!
And here I am on the side of the road. Took them an hour and a half. Volvo roadside assistance, an hour and a half to come rescue me.
Because they're probably like, "You're a dummy," and they're like, "I got other fucking."
They were like, "Hi, is this an emergency?" I'm like, "Yes,
yeah. I'm an idiot." Good God!
Hour and a half. I had to call and have somebody like pick up. That's what your
16-year-old daughter does whenever she gets her car for the first time, and she doesn't have any money.
I know.
She's trying to make it home.
When you like put like $2,
she puts $2 in there, and she's trying to putt home. Grown men don't do that. Lord.
Well, I didn't car show won't help you out with that.
Well, yeah, they got no time for you.
Actually, they probably would.
They probably would hook you up.
They would have hooked me up.
If you made car show,
I was embarrassed to call car show. I couldn't.
I couldn't call them. Thank God.
But I did run out of gas. It's the second time that's happened in less than a year. It happened on the highway last time at night.
I just keep that to yourself, bro.
You don't think I should share that?
No, it's just dumb.
All right, carshield.com. Again, 800-857-2481. Bellman.com. If you have a used car sitting in your garage, you don't know what to do with it, man. They'll pay top dollar for it. I can promise you that. They want to buy your car. In Troy, Missouri. Bellman.com. Cadillac, Buick, GMC on one side of the street. On the other side, you got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Stop on in. Say hi to Dale. Say what's up to Dan. They'd love to see you. And again, the best customer service you'll find anywhere. You're not going to have any what, Cam?
Swinging dicks. Okay. None of them swinging dicks coming out. It's a comfortable experience, and that's all you need to know. And they got great inventory, by the way.
Oh, great inventory, dude.
Badass.
Cadillac, Buick, GMC, like I said, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. And, of course, our friends over at Daredevil Hockey, daredevilhockey.com. Mention that promo code Cam Strick. You're going to save 25%. Protect your son or daughter. Do it today. Give them the best protection, man. Skate lacerations, the number one cause of emergency room visits among youth hockey players. And it's got that Kevlar fabric protection, on the uppers and the bottoms.
Yeah,
man.
And they're easy. It's an easy fit.
It's comfortable.
And it's not heavy.
Are you ever going to skate again, by the way?
Yeah, I will.
No, when?
Whenever I feel like it.
Like on a Wednesday?
Well, I got the fantasy camp coming up here, so I'm going to have to do something.
Well, exactly. Who are you playing with? I'm in the fantasy camp, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah, they just reached out.
They must have paid a lot of money for that.
Yeah, well,
okay. Some charities really rocking and rolling.
Well, we may. There's a possibility that we may draft you.
Oh, good. I wouldn't. I suck now.
Will you play on my line, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe I can keep up with you now. I don't know. We're in the same category, I think.
Are you worried about that? I told you don't stop playing.
I'll be fine, man. I'll be fine.
You think?
Yeah, I run every day. I'm not out of shape.
There's hockey shape and there's other kind of shape.
Andy, none of these guys are in any kind of shape, so it doesn't matter. At least I'm running every fucking day. I could still go out there and I'll be fine. Okay. Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself.
Well, okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Worry about yourself.
And nothing cheap, nothing dirty out there like you tried before.
Keep chirping. See what happens.
All right, listen, we appreciate Jeff Gorton.
Yeah, man.
And again, our thoughts are with the families of those three junior players.
Oh, yeah, man.
That is
Hazy's family.
That is the toughest news I think you could ever get.
I know.
Jimmy Hayes, his wife, man, his kids, his brother, his parents. I've met his mom. She is an unbelievable lady. I met her at Brady Kachuk's draft party. Just an incredible, incredible lady. And our heart goes out to them, and obviously to the missing curfew crews.
Yeah.
So
we love those guys, man. We love all you guys. We're all in this, man. And, it's a sad day in the hockey world.
Yeah, no question. So, again, heavy hearts on this edition of the Cam Strick Podcast.